Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of year again where I step into the host chair and we talk about a different kind of performance art because it is WrestleMania season. Today I am joined by two of my favorite Toronto critics to talk all things WWE. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, man, that's you. That's you. You got seniority, man. You're the OG.
Let's go.
I'm doing pretty good. I just got home from watching Mother Mary. I thought it was great, but I know you guys had some mixed thoughts. But I think we were going to talk some wrestling now.
I kind of want to get a little bit of the temperature about where you guys have been, let's say between last year's Mania to where we are now, how you felt about this build, how you feel about the company and the product in general. Steve, we can start with you.
Since last Mania? I think they've been held up with a lot of injuries, and in some ways, I think that's affected a lot of things. Like the Vision was supposed to be a much bigger storyline, and now they're right now down to two people essentially. What began as one thing has become something else. I'm actually okay with that. Ironically, my big problem with the Vision was Seth Rollins. I didn't think he needed them. It wasn't working. Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, they're a wonderful, wonderful idea. But I think Heyman's at his best when he's the one that gets to speak. So I actually like where the Vision is at right now. But it's been interesting because this year's build has been chaotic, shall we say, to Mania, understandably. And I think that there's been a lot of things that have been their fault. I think there's been a lot of things that haven't been their fault. And I also think that they're trying to navigate those things far better than people are giving them credit for. I'm not saying it's been a clear run, and I'm not saying we're looking at the type of story that we got in WrestleMania 39 and 40. But I am saying I think that they're navigating it better, and I think people are so angry online that they're ready to pounce on every little detail that doesn't seem to make sense. And I mean, that's where I'm at. I don't know. What about you, Gurveer?
Honestly, I'm less online this WrestleMania season, so I'm kind of just like, I'm aware of like what the sentiment is, but like I'm not really tripping. I feel like I've always been thinking, whenever there's like a big peak, like WrestleMania 40 was such a big moment for WWE. It was such a big moment for the company and wrestling as an entire atmosphere. But anytime you have like a big peak like that, it just has to wave, and they have to figure out what the next big storyline is. We are in the middle of like a rebuild. If a team just lost their franchise player, this would be like, you know, them trying to figure out how they're going to move going forward. Right now, you can see they're putting all their pieces in place of these young dudes, which should be their priority, and that's what they're doing right now. And I think, you know, as much as people are complaining or whatever, but like, I just think it's like, I get more excited to see where people are going to be, like what the potential is as wrestlers, or what like their storylines are going to be going forward. How am I going to get invested in this person? And going into WrestleMania, I'm invested in a lot of younger people. Sure, you know, you might be like, oh, I've seen like a lot of these people at the top of the card a lot or whatever. Like, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me either. But personally, like, I think as much as we're in the middle of a rebuild, I don't feel as negatively as people otherwise do.
And I know that the focus is going to be WWE for this, but because this is a time where there is another major promotion.
Nick was like ready to be like, these guys are ready to talk some shit with me. I'm ready to talk some shit too.
I just want to know where you guys stand on the comparisons of WWE and AEW.
Steve, you got to go first.
Okay, so I admit I'm not a big watcher of AEW. I keep up with it. Having said that, I don't feel like this is the WCW thing. I was watching avidly during the Monday Night Wars, and it was different. Like, it was a different time, and I feel like right now it's just another product. I think that it's like maybe the matches. I said, I'm not a big watcher. Maybe the matches have better production, but I think WWE is such a massive force that it's just a different thing. I think it's just a different thing. It's a Coke and Pepsi, Mac and PC sort of thing for me.
I don't even think it's like Coke and Pepsi. I think it's like comparing I think more like movie metaphors. Like I'd go like it's like Marvel and like A24 or something like that. Like no, but really, like I just
coming. All right, that's fair.
Not to say like that's what they are, especially in the spaces. But like personally, I just think it's like they're doing completely different things. They're swinging for completely different things, and they're both absurdly successful. Yeah. All right, like I don't want anybody to be like, oh man, this company's not doing. They don't know what they're doing. Blah blah. Both of these companies are in the billions. Everybody needs to shut up a little bit. But like everything that's happening with AEW has been really great. Personally, I think it's been pretty awesome. Like they actually just got back from a rebuild year, like last year and a half ish. And not to say like I didn't even enjoy it then, but like you can tell they had steps. They knew where they were going, and it was a lot of the same kind of thing that you're seeing right now in WWE. I imagine in a year and a half we're going to be talking about WWE very differently. Same thing with AEW. You're seeing culminations of like long stories that are playing out now, and they're setting up stuff right now that's going to play out in the summer. So I just think it's like, I think wrestling's in a lot better of a place than people make it seem. Like most companies are doing absurdly good things. I might sound too optimistic for some people, but like it's genuinely good wrestling. Like if you just look, there's amazing wrestling happening almost every single day of the week.
And I mean,
go ahead.
TNA has a television deal. MLP here in Canada has an upcoming television deal with TSN. Oh, yeah. Like it is as not just WWE, but as a sport, we'll call it. This is like the strongest wrestling has been in a very long time.
Yeah. It's funny though. This is what I mean. Like, I think before, like we're just such polarizing people now that things are either the best it's ever been or the worst it's ever been.
Yeah. And what is that? Why does it have to be the best or the worst?
It's unbelievable. Yeah, like seriously, like this is like I'm hearing like this is this is worst WrestleMania build there's ever been. I'm like, no,
yeah,
really not.
Imagine you compared every single movie you watch to like The Godfather. Like, why do you even want to watch every movie and compare it to The Godfather? Just go enjoy this stuff that's going on. You know how many good movies there are? You know how many times, you guys know this better than anybody, but imagine when you walk away and you're talking to people about movies and you're like, oh, there's nothing out, and people are like complaining about how there's no movies, and then you tell them about like, oh, actually, if you are watching, there's like these 10 movies out right now that are great. And I think it's just people just don't want to look, which is fine. Like you could be too busy for wrestling, you could be too busy for movies, but I think people who are watching are having a good time, personally.
I think that's one of the challenges with WWE right now, too, is they are, like, you think about where they were even 20 years ago. Like, they're a global entity, a global brand. They're everywhere. WrestleMania is 2 nights. SummerSlam is moving to 2 nights. And that's started.
Okay, can I pause that for a second?
Sure.
2 nights. Okay, let me complain a little bit. Why are we still doing this 2-night stuff? Can't a show just be a show? I know. I love like this is the event. Like it's like when I prefer a movie to a TV series because I get to sit down, enjoy the thing, and I'm done with it. I walk away, it's done. I don't want to come back every time the next day. I did SummerSlam in Cleveland. That was 2 nights. I did WrestleMania 2 nights a bunch of times now already, and it's like I just like one day where just everything amazing happens on that one day instead of spreading it out between the 2 days.
But the thing is that the card was like 8 hours. Sorry. I'm sorry, Nick. I apologize.
No, it's okay. I think the extra day takes away from the specialness of a WrestleMania, of a Royal Rumble, of a SummerSlam. And I don't think that it's similar to looking in storyline, but also in actuality. The whole thing about Punk never main eventing WrestleMania. And main eventing night 1 doesn't feel like main eventing WrestleMania. It's like its own thing. And like even when you look at, regardless of your thoughts on the build and stuff like that, the main event, if someone asked you what the main event of WrestleMania 42 is, it's Roman and Punk.
Yeah, okay, but how about this? Has Sasha and Bianca, have they main evented WrestleMania?
No. They opened. I think they opened the year that they fought.
I think they main evented to WrestleMania. I think they closed the show.
I thought there was a 3-way.
They did.
No, Sasha versus Bianca at WrestleMania like 37. I think it was.
Okay.
37. They closed night 1, but that felt like a main event to me. That felt like a massive event. That felt like a moment. And that's something I always kind of push to whenever I think about like, night 1 doesn't count or whatever. Like, who cares? You know, like that kind of stuff is going to change with time anyways. I think more that people dwell on like the silliness of like, that was only on the first day. It's like, what are we talking about?
Main event that's is 37. You're right.
Yeah, they did.
And you know what I would say too? I'm sorry, I would say this too, Nick. I think it depends how they implement it. For example, WrestleMania 40 is perfect. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but the way
the moment for that.
No, pardon?
The moment called for that at WrestleMania 40. I feel like the 2 nights was like, all right, that one makes sense.
Yeah, like it was tied together. There was a reason, and they're doing it because they're selling out 75,000 both nights. Now they're not this year, so now they're panicking. Well, we're like Gurveer, you said, like we're coming on a bit of a down. We're retooling, but like now everybody's freaking out because they were on this high for so long. And I think that like double main event
100,000 tickets. It's like I don't know why people panic about this stuff. It's so silly.
So much so they had to put it in the storyline that like CM Punk complained and Pat McAfee brought it down. It's like
yeah. It's always been weird. Sorry, go ahead.
I think bringing up Marvel was a good point because like Marvel films, we know they're going to make $100 million, $500 million, $1 billion. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're great movies. And I think that's kind of where WWE is right now.
I don't think necessarily we know the money is going to work. Though,
Sorry?
They're not necessarily not good movies, though. Like, it's not to say, like, WWE's putting on, like, a worse product. They're putting on a different product, and they're, like, going through... Like, wrestling's so different that, like, waves are part of the whole momentum thing. And, like, anytime there's, like, a situation that, like, right now they clear like who else would you put right now? Would you take Punk out of a main event? Would you take Roman out of a main event or Cody out of a main event? You could replace Randy, sure, because that's what they were figuring out on the way this year. But like they were just figuring out who belongs at the top of this wave right now. And it would be absurd almost to put anybody else besides those 3 guys, I feel.
Can I speak to that? Because I think this sorry, Nick, were you gonna? The 3 of us were all.
I don't mean to. I don't want to keep. I don't want to keep cutting it to you, Nick. Come on, that.
I know. I feel bad. Like Nick, if you guys.
This is what happens when we talk wrestling, though. We just end up being like, "I've thought about this so much. I have so many thoughts."
No, like that's what it's about. So, okay, yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Okay. So this is exactly again what I'm talking about, and I think it's an interesting relationship with the fans right now. This fascinates me because, okay, you got Randy and Randy and Cody in the main event. That's a heck of a match. And that is a match that people have wanted for months. But because Drew loses in the first SmackDown of the year, or whatever it was, Drew loses on SmackDown and they give it to Cody, people are now furious. And it's like, and people are saying like Drew got screwed out of the event. Well, they've given Drew a great feud. It's not like they just left him off the card. They've given him a legitimate feud with a major player that is, if he's not main event scene, he's close. With Jacob Fatu, we're getting an unsanctioned match that's going to murder somebody. I don't know what they're going to do. But people have it in their mind that Drew, who has been great, don't get me wrong, and he deserves the shot. They had this idea. And I don't think they woke up in the morning and they're like, yeah, you're done, Drew. Like, you're out. But the fans have reacted in such negativity that there's this hatred there. Like, my boy, Sami Zayn. I love Sami Zayn. Same thing. Same thing.
I agree. Sammy gets, he's got, like, such a weird relationship with the fans, which is so unfortunate because at any other point, you'd be like, why isn't this guy world champion?
Honestly, but it's the same perception. We want Mello. Well, okay, you could have put Mello in the match. But I really believe that Sammy takes the belt to not just keep Melo off the card, but to set up a 5-month feud with Trick Williams after this is over.
I don't even know about that. I think more so than anything, it's just like, yo, the Trick is the priority right now. They clearly want to make this guy, so we gotta like do what we can. Throw our best guy. Like Sammy is one of the best wrestlers in WWE. For Trick to be so fortunate to have somebody like him at his first WrestleMania that can guide him through a match like that, like I don't know what else you could ask for. That's a beautiful. I thought that was great, and I think it's going to work out to be great.
I think so too, but there's that perception, right? Like I felt bad for him last week on SmackDown because he's cutting a babyface promo,
yeah,
and and they're booing him, and he actually says, "I don't know what I did, but here we are, and I'm here for the people who are here for me, and I appreciate you staying with me." And they're booing louder, and Trick Williams is cutting a heel promo, and everything he says is like, "Yeah." Because Sammy is perceived to be the scapegoat, but I think I just think they're keeping Melo for later. It's not like I don't know. They could have added him in the match, but like,
and Trick is just absurdly cool. I don't think you you know what I mean. Like you ride that wave. He's clearly like beloved by these people. Why would you not want to feed into that?
So let's run down this card. Starting with night 1 on ESPN, we have Logan Paul and Austin Theory with IShowSpeed versus the Usos and LA Knight. This feels like one of those matches where they're kind of just trying to get everyone onto the card at the same time. You've got Logan Paul and Austin Theory who have dealt with the injury issues in the Vision. We've lost Bronson Reed and we've lost Braun Breaker. You have IShowSpeed, which is there for the mainstream media. And you have LA Knight, who's just kind of here because people love him and they want him on the card.
Steve, I know you got some thoughts.
I got thoughts. Oh, good. Okay. Here's my thoughts. I think this has been one of the better builds they've had for a match that means nothing. I think it has been because I think everything you said is not a negative in this match. This whole thing is, I think, a great example of what they're trying to do with celebrity wrestlers now. Like now they're bringing people in that take it seriously. For crying out loud, Logan Paul is a full-timer now, multiple-time champion. And I think that they've actually cut people. Who is Travis Scott got dropped because they didn't like from the rumor I hear is that he didn't like what they saw when he was practicing. But Show or Speed, I've been calling him Show. My kids have called me out for it. I guess that means I'm old. Speed is going to put in the work. And I love that this match, I think they have used every platform imaginable. Having LA Knight show up in his house and yelling at him because of this perceived interference. This is a simple match. It means nothing. But they got you there logically. So even the fact that Speed is so tight with Logan Paul, it's not like they threw Speed in a match with the Bella Twins or something like that. He's close with Logan Paul. They're buddies. Logan Paul is tag team champ. And even this whole thing of like, I don't really want to be on your team, but these guys are mad at me. I think they've done an excellent job in a match that means absolutely nothing. And it's just to give Speed a really good spot. But it's so much better than the way they used to use celebrity wrestlers. They bring them in, parade them, and do something really stupid. They're looking for athletic people. So this match, like I said, means nothing, but I think it's a really good opener.
I think it also is a very good opener. Also, it's just like it's fun. Like what's so wrong with that? ESPN. This is like for most people to come check it out. Oh, I've heard of Logan Paul. Oh, I've heard of IShowSpeed. If anybody's going to take care of these guys, it's the Usos, as talented as they are. And you start off the night eating, and if I don't know, but like genuinely, like sure, like people talk like their shit on the internet, but like if you go to a WWE show, especially if you go to WrestleMania and you see like thousands and thousands of people eating, it's a cool thing. The energy is awesome, so I don't see what's so bad about it. And frankly, it's going to give these guys a cool moment to win. Like the Usos and LA Knight are going to get a cool little WrestleMania moment right just to kick off the night, and I think that's cool. I don't see anything wrong with that. And you get a ton of exposure because IShowSpeed's on this thing, and it brings in a bunch of kids too, which is great.
Yeah.
So are we?
I got no beef.
I got no beef.
Are we all in agreement that the Usos and LA Knight are going to come out on top here?
Oh yeah, they'll pin Speed.
Yeah.
They're not gonna. They're gonna pin Speed after LA Knight gives him a BFT and they give him an Usos splash, and he's lying there in the center of the ring unconscious. But who cares?
I think it's fun.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
what you want from an opener, especially one that's going to be on free TV for a lot of people.
Sure. Yeah.
Exactly. I got nothing but respect for this ridiculous match.
And I think for the wrestling purists, if that doesn't do anything for you, you have the Unsanctioned match, which is also going to be on ESPN. And that's Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting that second?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
As far as I know, yeah.
Fun match. You get, like, again, talking about young guys being prioritized. I don't know how much younger Jacob is than Drew, but, like, I imagine Jacob is a big priority. I also think he should be. He's great. And it's just going to be nice to see him get to be in this environment. He gets a big match against a guy like Drew. Let's see what he has. And you get to see how he rises up to the occasion, especially being on ESPN. Let's see what's up. I think it'll be pretty good, to be honest. It sounds like it's going to be a really fun match. And I hope they, like, go balls to the wall and just, like, fucking ball out in Las Vegas.
Well, they've already fought until they fell off a building, right? So
onto a giant pillow. Let's be
it's like, how much more unsanctioned can you get?
I know. It's like, someone's gonna die. I'm telling you, this is no way.
I'm looking forward to this match too. I think, unfortunately, Jacob Fatu is someone that felt like he was destined for the top of the card and got cooled off a little bit as the MFT feud happened and went a little bit too long. We're not even going to talk about where the MFTs are now with that damn lantern thing. But I think this is a chance to kind of reinvigorate that character a little bit and hopefully move him towards the top of the card again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this is, I mean, I know it's a second match of the night, but these are top of the card people. And I think that you're right. I mean, Fatu may have cooled off a little bit, but I think this match is going to be designed to elevate both of them.
I also think that's just waves too. It's like you say he's like cold or whatever, but it's like it's just because he hasn't been put in those positions. Now he's in a position to, like, let's see what you got, and he could be hot tomorrow. Or on Saturday. Like, after that, everything could be different. So you just never know.
Yep. All he has to do is go through a flaming table from the top rope, and everybody be like, "This guy needs to be champ," and he'll go from there.
What's so bad about a flaming table? I love a flaming table.
Love a flaming table.
I wish I saw more flaming tables.
Right?
What happened? I remember I watched MJF and Hangman, and I was like, "Oh, flaming table," and then they did the I think it was like barbed wire or glass or something, and I was like, cool, but I want flames.
We need more flames. We need an Inferno match on this card. Maybe we add that stipulation to something. But
it'd be interesting to see who wins. I think that would be interesting. Like, my heart says it'll be Drew, but if they want to put Fatu over, it's got to be him. But then what happens to Drew? Because here you had a guy, like, they're not going to put him in a match with Danhausen, you know?
But his character is that he keeps getting screwed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the bottom of that, it doesn't exist. You could do whatever the hell you want, and he can always be, like, reinvented down the line. But I think it's just Jacob should be prioritized. I think I'm going to keep going with mostly, like, the young people, because that should be the sentiment coming out of this. Look at how many, like, ballers we have coming into, you know, post WrestleMania season.
I think the only way I can see Drew winning, which I wouldn't hate, is if this becomes an extended feud, because I don't think Drew has hit peak Drew in this feud yet, and I think there's more to get out of these two together. So if you're going to continue it, I could see you doing the Drew win here, and giving Jacob the big blow-off win at the end of the feud. But if this is going to be a one and done, I think, Jacob should take it by far.
But where do you go past an unsanctioned match? Like, it's like, no. This feud is so serious. We're going to sanction these matches now. It's like, this feels like a Hell in the Cell without the cell. So I don't know where that, like, to me, this feels like it's got to, I mean, maybe they'll do something at Backlash, but it's got to be done soon. I mean,
we just said Inferno match. One of these men will be lit on fire.
With a gunfight. That's it. No, it's like, what? Like, where are we going?
Yeah, it's tough to figure out what the route would be for these two, but I do think that there's a little bit more gas in the tank, especially from Drew here, to kind of get more of a story out of the battle between him and Jacob.
Yeah, I could see them actually fighting for a long time. Like, they could just be like rivals going forward. So, this is just a good situation for both guys. I think it's really good, especially for that beginning of ESPN. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
And then the pay-per-view, I'm not even calling it that anymore, but the premium live event portion.
That's still PLE. That's still PLE stuff.
There we go. Is going to start with the women's tag team match. This is Nia Jax and Lash Legend, who are the champions, versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, versus possibly the Bella Twins, depending on the injury situation there.
I think this is I don't know about how you guys feel, but any of these kind of fatal four ways, like I remember WrestleMania 20 had like two of them for like the SmackDown title and then one for the Raw title. It's like I couldn't tell you anything that happened in either of those matches. I feel like unfortunately these are kind of a little bit forgettable, but I think it's good to give all these people reps, especially somebody like Lash Legend. Again, priority, and I can imagine her coming out on top on this one.
I think this match was designed for the Bella Twins to get their first tag team title, and I think that may not happen because they may not be in the match. And I think that I respect the build. Like, this isn't a match I'm excited for, but they've done a good job with the build. I like the singles matches, the back and forth, the almost heelish teases of, wins and stuff they've been doing. They've done a good job with it. It's not what I'm looking forward to. I think if the Bella Twins don't do it and don't win, I think that I think the champs are going to retain. I think they're just going to keep it, and the other two will feud.
It's really interesting that three out of the four women's matches that are happening on this weekend are happening on night one. So you're going to see that, but more obviously priority is going to be like AJ Lee and Becky and Stephanie and Liv. And I just imagine like a match like this kind of it doesn't have that same kind of importance, I personally feel, for those kinds of ones. But I think those other matches are tremendous. They've had great builds. People are invested. It's a lot of good stuff.
Is this one of those goofy ones where they can tag each other in? Like, not a tag match. No. But I'm saying, like, there's.
Are you talking like a tornado tag?
Tornado?
No, tornado tag is when they're all in the match at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like anybody can tag anybody? I think that's how fatal four-way tag matches work. Like, anybody can tag you in. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me, but okay.
Otherwise, what are you supposed to do? Imagine, like, what are you going to do rules-wise? Like, you can only tag your partner. That means all four people got to be in at the same time.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it doesn't. But if I'm Charlotte Flair and I'm tired, why would I tag in Bayley? It doesn't make any sense. Like,
I mean, in theory, it's like I'm fucking tired. I'm getting out of here ASAP, or like I'm getting beat up by Nia Jax. I'm gonna hop out real quick.
No, doesn't.
I would say that would be my devil's advocate.
Yeah, I think that format is one that works well if it's an elimination match, but when it's a single pinfall match, I think there's issues there. I think the two standouts for me going into this match, I think Lash Legend has exceeded what she was able to do at NXT. She's one of the rare occasions where she graduated, quote unquote, and then did better on the main roster than she did in the minor leagues. And I'm not here to
Whoa.
So rude.
I don't know what you call it.
Let's
it's
have
like the
words about
AHL.
this.
It's just NXT. It's just NXT.
Developmental. Sorry.
Yeah, and you know what? It's just like it's like another one of those things. Like I feel like even a great example talking about movies again, Marvel, A24. But like imagine if WWE is like Warner Bros. They just announced Clockwork as like their new premium like sub brand of like they're gonna have Sean Baker and those kinds of movies. NXT a lot of times used to be, especially as like Black and Gold, they used to be like the one where, all right, we're just gonna hoop like super hard and put on these amazing takeovers. And I used to love those. Those were I used to go to WrestleMania weekend all the time, and like those would be the highlight every single weekend. It was great.
Oh yeah, Black and Gold NXT was something. That wasn't the quote unquote minor leagues, but this
You know how many good
feels...
NXT matches I've been to? I was at Andrade, Johnny Gargano. I was at Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano in New York. That was amazing. That was one of the best matches I've ever seen live. I was at Shinsuke versus Sammy.
Oh,
I was at a bunch.
I love that match.
I know. Me too.
that and DIY and the Revival is probably the two Black and Gold NXT matches that really stick out to me.
I was there too.
Because of course you were. Because I just heard about this Shinsuke Nakamura guy, and then he showed up in that match with Sammy, and I was just stunned.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big like Japanese wrestling fan too. So like Nakamura walking in like after, I don't know if you guys have ever seen like him versus like Kota Ibushi. They have these incredible matches, and anybody who's like a fan of or even like sometimes you hear people talking about like I don't really get this like Nakamura stuff, but if you go watch that match, like it's incredible. It's like one of those matches that if you just show somebody who doesn't even watch wrestling and they just see two people like beating the crap out of each other, it's like so much fun. It's just great.
Yeah, a lot of the New Japan stuff was introduced to me. Honestly, a lot of the way I still follow wrestling is by the guys at Post Wrestling, John Pollock and Wei Ting, who I've listened to since I was a kid.
Yeah, great guys.
They're awesome, and I like the ability to that they always kept the listener up to date with not just the North American wrestling, but what was happening in New Japan and what was happening in Pro Wrestling Noah. And that made it so that when some of these guys came over, or even when AEW started their relationship, these weren't nobodies to me. I knew who Kota Ibushi was. I knew who Tomohiro Ishii was. Like, these were people I'd heard of. But the one other person I do want to single out for this tag match, because I'm not here to say that Unreal is anything spectacular.
What a detour.
I know, right?
I was like, I'm not talking about this match. I'm talking New Japan. In the next match, I'm bringing up CMLL.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I think Unreal did really well was make me give a shit about Lyra Valkyria. Because she comes across, the two people that really come across in that show great are Lyra Valkyria and Chelsea Green.
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Unreal. I saw the first season, but I haven't caught the second one yet.
Like, it's fine. It's not real behind the scenes. Like, it's WWE's version of behind the scenes. And it's like,
it's a reality show.
Yeah, we got everyone. Seth really broke his ankle. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
But the personalities are the highlight of that. And I think Lyra Valkyria comes across great on that show. And I want to see more for her. And this little thing she has going with Bayley, I think, has been entertaining throughout the year.
And who doesn't love Bayley?
Yeah.
I think that I can't believe
You're like, I don't love Bayley.
No, I do. I think Bayley and Lyra are turning heel at WrestleMania.
No, why would I hate it when Bayley's a heel? It's so weird.
Yeah.
She has nothing to do right now.
She's a hugger.
Not anymore.
Go there.
Social distance after. Then she hasn't hugged anybody since.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think credit really needs to be given to Charlotte Flair. And I think that, and Alexa, specifically this thing with Alexa Bliss, because Charlotte, I think, was at the brink. I've heard her say that she didn't know what to do and she was thinking of quitting. She tried being a babyface. The fans wouldn't accept her. She didn't have any direction. And it wasn't even that they were like, oh no, we don't like her character. They just hated her.
Mm.
And this relationship with Alexa has genuinely made them interesting. Even the fact that if you watch a lot of their matches, Alexa gets the pin. It's not Charlotte going over every single time. It's usually Alexa. And I think that has really helped. So if they end up with the belt, I won't be mad. But I really think that the feud that's coming is going to be Alexa and Charlotte and Bayley and Lyra, and I think Bayley and Lyra are going heel.
I just can't. I'm having like a meta thought where I'm like, somebody's gonna be listening to this and they're gonna be like, why are these guys spending like 30 minutes on this tag team match? And then they talked about like the main event for like 2 minutes. Like, what's just happened here?
I looked at the time. I'm like, we're gonna need night 1 and night 2.
Well, I think part of that is jokes aside. Like, this is one of the lengthier builds. All the characters have had long-term stories.
I don't think so. I think we're overthinking this match way too much. Like, way too much.
Well, let's jump ahead then to the women's Intercontinental match, and that is AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think it's going to be a great match. I think AJ has probably exceeded expectations with what she could do in the ring since she's come back. And Becky is one of the most reliable females that they've had on their roster in quite some time. So I think this is going to be a good match. I don't see how this is a stinker by any means.
Steve.
Oh, I was waiting for you.
I feel like you have thoughts.
I do, because I agree, quite frankly, and I think Becky's got to go over, because I don't think AJ's done a wonderful job, but I think this has been some of the best work of Becky's career. I think heel Becky this year.
Too far. That's way too far.
Seriously? No, it isn't.
You went way too far.
No,
I'm really back in a little bit.
No. I think this heel Becky. This is better than good. Bex. I have not loved her character so much. And this whole thing about I'm the greatest wrestler and I'm not the only one saying it.
So I love that. That's my favorite.
Saying it. Everybody's saying it.
It is the best. That's a great thing.
Her mic work has been impeccable over the last few months.
Because she's good no matter what. She's been good no matter what. She's always been good.
She's been great. That's what I'm saying. She's always good. But she was Becky Hogan. That's what they were calling her, right? Becky Hogan.
Yeah, I think all that stuff was silly. But okay, truthfully though, Becky is like incredible. I think she's like genuinely the coolest thing about her is that she doesn't need to be in like the main title picture to like really be like a focal point. She clearly can make stuff happen, even if it's just in her like ecosphere. And like I mean, like AJ's like lucky to be able to like have this long program with somebody so like talented and somebody who's going to be able to bring her up to like a certain level. And I think it's just like ultimately it just is something that speaks to how good Becky is and how like her legacy is going to be so like not just secure, but like it's just going to age really well because you can make so many different arguments of like, look at like she wrestled AJ all these times, but she made it an engaging situation the entire time. And like you said, she comes up with new catchphrases all the time that are great. She just she has a lot of like really cool moments. I was at WrestleMania 35 when she won, and even though the finish was weird, that moment was still true. People really wanted to see her main event and win.
But I would say that since then, like she came and she went, she had the baby and all that stuff. I think this time, like she has done such incredible work that I love having her around. She put Maxine over. She didn't, she put Maxine over.
She's great.
Last year, she had a 6-month feud with Trish Stratus. Like 6 months with a retired Hall of Famer. I'm like, this is anyway. I think I love this version of Becky. It's fantastic.
This is my little thing. If I'm nitpicking, one thing I do wish was that because I do think Becky is so talented in so many ways that a lot of the other girls aren't. She should be with like people that she can raise up. But like, I want to see her face like the best ones. Like when she has like a Rhea, like you can see Rhea has to like rise up to her level in a bunch of different ways. And I want to see that from like a bunch of other people. I just think if anything, she's underutilized.
But I think if you put her back in the main event scene, you're going to have a riot. And I think it's the Charlotte Flair problem, you know.
I don't think it has to be like that. It could just be like, you know, she's good regardless. She'll make it work. She'll, you know what I mean? Like, it's just put her with the right people and she can be used to elevate them and just make them better.
Yeah, I think I think there's a lot of women on this roster who have potential or even beyond potential and don't have a spot on this card. A name like a Roxanne Perez comes to me, a Raquel Rodriguez. And I think if you can put Becky with them to maybe elevate people like that, I think that's her path forward. I wouldn't go as far as saying this is the best Becky has ever been, but I do think that when you think of the all-time greats, because we're all from a similar generation when it comes to the women, you think of more of the characters. You think of the Trish, the Lita, the Chyna. Because the work rate, there's been a ton of quality wrestlers in this era, whether it's Bayley, Sasha, Charlotte. But when you think about the overall character, like Becky is the one that is the cream that rises to the top, that I think she will always be thought of as like an all-time great.
I would just like to point out that Sasha is also, like, for me personally, I think she actually is the, like, that's the GOAT. You know what I mean? Personally.
Sasha or Mercedes?
Mercedes, Sasha, like, you know, the GOAT.
I wouldn't say, I think Sasha is great, but I don't ever think she hit the level in WWE.
I don't think that matters. Like she's so impactful that like literally everything we're talking about over these last like 40 minutes has been an impact of what she did. If she doesn't have that match in Brooklyn, and it's not to say that like there's not talented people, she had a platform and she delivered on such a huge level, and that's why everyone gets these opportunities, because they showed we can do this. And I don't mean to keep creating these asides, but it's like I'm gonna call it when it's real.
No, she reminds me a little bit of Sting, but with a much better success in her early WWE era. But
I think, as a like, if you just look at her work as like a product, it's just like this is as good as it gets.
But I think that Mercedes is kind of her piece de resistance. Like that is what she's going to be known for.
Like her more recent work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even outside of AEW, even what she's been doing with all the smaller promotions and all the belt situation and stuff like that. But I think she's going to be like what AJ Styles was to TNA before he came to WWE. Was always viewed as like one of the best, but like not because of his WWE career.
No, but the WWE stuff is like why she's iconic, and then what she's doing right now has been great. But then I think the cool thing is that she's actually as young as like a lot of these women that we're talking about as like, oh, she's up next. Like she's absurd. Like she's a prodigy. Like she's been doing this for like a decade and it's been incredible the entire time. But the cool thing is like she hasn't even touched like a world championship in AEW. You know what I mean? Like she's wrestled for it, but
they
like,
gave her like 11 billion belts. Like
but like she still has like that run still. Like it's to say that the potential is even still there, regardless.
Which is so crazy to think about because they were in the company at the same time. Is look at what happened with Toni Storm when she went to AEW after leaving WWE. And the fact that the fact that Mercedes hasn't hit that peak yet, I think AEW is like where her career is going to blow up even more, to the point that people are going to forget the WWE stuff, but they're going to remember her for Mercedes. They're not.
I think they go hand in hand, personally. You got to think of one and the other. They're just together, regardless.
Fair enough.
And also, like the Four Horsemen thing, like this is too much. It's too much iconicness of what she's contributed, unfortunately. Like, I'm being dead serious. Like, if you want me to like rattle, I could go be like, oh, there was this and then there's this, and by the way, she main evented WrestleMania, and by the way, you know, when they changed the Divas title to the women's title, it was not only just, I think, partially because of her, but She was in that match at WrestleMania 32. And like I could just keep going. The tag team titles. There's so many things that she did in WWE that you could really establish as like this person's an incredible talent. And I think that's what's dope about all these four horsewomen. Even like looking at Bayley, Bayley doesn't get enough love. But like one day when we look back, people will talk about her as if she is such an absurd legend. Like that. I don't know if you guys heard that quote where Triple H was talking about Arn Anderson and like how he's been appreciated and that kind of stuff. Did you guys hear that?
No.
No, yeah, it was basically like, yeah, it was basically like Arn Anderson being like, you guys talk about like, I want to be here on the card and be here on the card, but like you guys talk about me like I'm a legend and I was only like a mid-carder. And ultimately we'll look at like every one of those four as like these incredibly high-level legends. And I still think like that's like the pinnacle of WWE's women's division. Like I don't know if anybody's really past that personally.
No, I think that was the top that they had. The early Charlotte, the Becky, you even had names like Paige was still around at that point. Before
and like even Rhea now, what Rhea's doing right now is like incredible, and like maybe she'll be the one to like surpass all that stuff. But
yeah,
I still see them as like a benchmark.
No, for sure.
I would also like to clarify, going back to what I said before. I did say some of the best work of her career. I did not say this was the best. I heard somebody quote,
"You're a hater. It's too late." All right, I'm putting a stamp on it.
I still stand by it. But I said some of.
Steve's super negative. That should be the perception coming out of this. All right.
Well, speaking of haters, we're going to get to a match which features someone that I have never been high on. And that's the next matchup on the card, and that is Gunther, the Ring General, versus Seth Rollins.
Say that again. You're not high on who?
I'm not high on Seth Rollins. I never have been.
Oh, in general? Oh man,
general.
Don't make me. I don't want to keep going on rants, man. I don't want to do it. Don't make me do this. I just don't want to. But like, Seth versus Gunther is such a dope match. Like it's how I don't know how. It's such a good match. It's all you could ask for.
Work rate, it should be probably the best match of the night, I would say.
I just think like these guys are so absurdly talented. Gunther is having like this really special moment right now where like everyone recognizes how good he is. That's number one. Seth's coming back from an injury. There's so much intrigue there. I hope this isn't a situation where like they can have this incredible match and then like Braun Breaker comes back and just spears everybody and like kind of muddies it up. Let me just enjoy this one. Just as a fan, let me just enjoy it. Let's walk into it, just have fun, and then do the angle on Raw. Hopefully,
I'm totally okay with Braun Breaker interfering in this match. I'm totally okay with it. That's fine. I don't know if he will, but I love this. This is one of those pivot matches that is genius. Like I think that neither of these things were supposed to work. They were angling towards other opponents. What are we going to do? And I think that they have crafted an opportunity here to tell an incredible story to build up to Gunther versus Brock. And I think that it all, like, just this whole thing, you owe me so much more than a favor. I think that I think the match is going to be great. Mm-hmm. But I think that the storytelling out of this is going to take you right through to SummerSlam, and I think that's what I like about it.
Why do we separate match from storytelling? They are the same. They're one and the same.
No, but right now they're not because this match was thrown together. Like,
but like that's the thing. Like the idea that like two guys just walk by each other, don't like each other, and then start fighting. That shouldn't be an absurd thing. That happens all the time. Yeah, why is that a shallow story? That's a real life thing that happened.
But Gunther was supposed
to
get Ray.
They peppered in more.
Yeah, but Gunther was supposed to get Ray, and they didn't know if he was going to be ready.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be Seth and Braun. So I know that this was a match that they had to piece together. And now even the fact that Gunther when they introduced the segment where Gunther walks up and attacks him from behind, like it was legitimately everybody went, why? Like it was a good story, which is a good story question. but there wasn't a lot of logic behind the build for Mania. Usually that's the case. So to have two guys that are major headliners be thrown together felt odd, but they have mastered it. Like, I think this is actually a legitimately exciting match. I think.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to deliver when you watch the match. I'm not here to say Seth Rollins isn't good. I just
explain yourself.
Yeah, I was waiting for I kind of want to shit on it a little bit, but you guys have been like fucking building this thing.
I grew up in the Attitude Era, and when I see Seth Rollins, not the work rate is different, the style of wrestling is different, but like I see Triple H. Like that is the character that I see.
You're right.
And
he sucks.
No, both of you are incorrect as fuck.
Wait a minute.
No,
Triple H's character, sometimes he's a good guy, sometimes he's a bad guy, but like he was what he always got put in these positions where he was at the top of the card, and his character never really connected with me. And I think Seth, because he has such a high work rate, makes up for a lot of that stuff, whether it be
can't be using words like work rate. We just can't be. I can't let it slide. We just can't be
happening here right now.
We can't be using words like work rate. All right, we're not doing it.
Okay.
You don't know what the fuck that means. Okay. We're not doing that. All right?
Like his technical abilities in the ring.
We will not use words like work.
Don't call him Colby. I'm joking. I'm just talking shit.
No. Like I've never been that impressed with Tyler Black. He just, I've never been a big fan of him, and the idea of him becoming like a guy who leads a company, I thought he was good in the Shield, but on his own, I've never been a big Seth Rollins believer. I just think he's a really good technical wrestler in the ring, and I think what he can do is impressive in that sense. But his character, I've never been a fan of.
I think he's a good storyteller. I really do. Even like I'm not like the biggest Seth Rollins fan, but like he just, how can you deny it? So like so many different situations. Again, I don't. It feels annoying to be like, I was at this blah blah blah, but I was at WrestleMania 31.
We're gonna put a counter up.
You really should. And just at the end, just put like a list of like, how the fuck did that? But like WrestleMania 31, like
this is his equivalent of name dropping. It's like,
this is my name dropping. This is it. It's like me just bragging, being like, I was at this wrestling thing, and I've been to a bunch. But WrestleMania 31 was like genuinely like, you could see coming out of that this guy's like a made man, but that moment he created was incredible. And then the cool thing on top of that, because I saw him as Tyler Black too, and I remember being like, I don't know how I feel about this guy. People were shitting on him for being like skinny, calling him a jobber, all this kind of stuff. But then when he continues to be put in high level positions, he's so dependable for this regime. And every single time you see Seth be put in big moments, he delivers. I think that's like the biggest thing, and it's hard to deny. Like, even look at WrestleMania 40, like he's such an important part of that. There are like, of course, moments. I'm not gonna like pretend like I love every single Seth Rollins match, but like there is enough of incredible stuff that it's like hard to like shit on him at all.
My counter to that would be Triple H delivered in those moments as well. Like, I'm not here to say Triple H was terrible as a character or performer. I just never viewed him as like a face on the level of an Austin, of a Rock. He was.
I don't think he's. I don't think
Godfather. The Godfather thing again. All right, you're comparing everybody. You're comparing these guys to like something else. That's like, why are we doing that? You know what I mean? Like this, he's a completely separate performer, but also he is like somebody who is supposed to be like those in-ring guys and like delivers continuously on story, has these absurd characters and looks that have made him like very like stand out when you think of WWE TV. And I think that like goes a long way, especially like in the WWE ecosphere. Like this is what, like, he's like as good as it gets over there.
Yeah, he's taken a lot of crap and made it ice cream. He really has
a bunch of times, man. So many times you've seen like, all right, cool, I guess I got to do this thing, and then it ends up being awesome.
Which, okay, goes back to my point 7 hours ago when we started this podcast. This is why I don't think he fit the vision. I understand the appeal of putting him with Paul Heyman. I totally get it, and it was a fun turn and all this stuff. But the idea of the vision should be, the vision is that these are the guys we want to lead the company next. That makes sense to me. Paul Heyman leading an upstart group of young guys. If Braun Breaker is the leader, you've got Austin Theory in there now, fine. I think Austin is actually doing better work. They're giving him more to do. I think Logan Paul's going to be a world champion within the next 12 months. I really do. And Bronson Reed, that's what you needed for the vision. But Seth Rollins, they didn't need him and Paul Heyman in the same space. You took away what Paul Heyman is good at by giving it to Seth Rollins. If you want to make the vision, don't put Heyman in it. But I think you need Heyman for the young guys. So this is actually the thing. I think Seth is so good that they could have had him be a super heel without that faction. I think that actually has held the stories back.
I think if anything, the difference is like the reason they want him in that kind of position is because they want him to have the ability to do what they ended up doing, like much shorter, on like a much shorter timeline that they had probably hoped for a long timeline, which is he'd be the guy that first shows these guys like, this is why I'm doing this, blah blah blah, like gives them, like shows them the ropes for a couple of months or however long that run would be, and then it would ultimately lead to them turning and him being like the guy that has all these young guys to work with for an absurdly long time. And I think clearly that's what it was set up for. But, you know, it is what it is. Injuries happen. You got to rush through stuff. Like, we never saw it really played out the way it was meant to be. And it's unfortunate.
Not to keep adding on the Triple H comparisons, but I think the vision was a modern day evolution with Heyman as Flair and Seth as Triple H.
But then the problem's Paul Heyman.
Well, Heyman was Flair. And I think Flair was not necessarily the part you needed at points in evolution, because Batista had become so strong, because Orton had become so strong. And I think that Logan and Breaker were your Batista and your Orton in this. No offense to Bronson. I just don't think that they view him as a top of the line talent, which mid-carders are fine.
I don't even know if that matters, because like ultimately, like it's like he was put in a really big spot. So even a guy like Bronson just is one of those dudes that has the goods and just needs to be put in positions where he can succeed. And he was set up really well with like the Roman stuff, and they were building up to whatever. And he would have been a guy that would have ended up being a huge priority, especially like at a SummerSlam or like a WrestleMania like this. And I don't think it would be crazy to think that when he comes back, he's going to be like a huge priority again. I just think he's too talented.
Oh no, I definitely think he'll be a priority. Fine. I think everything they did with the tsunami attacks and stuff were great. I think you were building him into this believable monster. But I think that the point of the vision was to particularly focus on Breaker above all else. And then find how you get Logan.
You know? Like, you can get more than one out of this.
Yeah, and I think find how you can get Logan into that main event picture that Steve believes he's heading towards.
He's getting there. I'm telling you, I have more respect for Logan Paul than I ever thought, like as a performer, than I ever thought.
Clip this shit right now.
No.
Use it against him for the rest of his fucking life.
I am totally okay. I am totally okay with saying that.
I'm just
because as a performer, I'm not saying
noted great guy, Logan Paul.
That's not what I said. Not what I said. Listen, okay, now everything I say after this is shot. But I mean it. Like this dude was the outsider. They did a whole they did
like a guy shin.
IshowSpeed. Huh?
Like a guy shin. No, I'm just joking. Cut that. Never mind.
I don't know what you said.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I think that like he was going to be the guy who came in just like Speed is now. IshowSpeed. He was a one-off. He did the tag match with Logan with The Miz. He main evented with Roman like in his like fourth match, and for crying out loud, Like now, Roman, I really believe Roman can make everybody look good. I really do. But
All right.
Logan
continue,
Paul's
continue.
put in the what?
No, continue.
Logan Paul's put in the work. I'm telling you, like, and everybody hates him so much that he's a perfect heel. Like he is a perfect heel because people legitimately hate him. He's earned a spot in my heart for hating the guy that I'm supposed to hate. I like hating him.
Oh, Steve, I can't wait to use this against you.
I stand by it. I like hating Logan Paul. I do.
Also, we're an hour in and we're still talking about Logan Paul. This is insane.
Well, let's jump on to the next match, which honestly I believe is one of the best built matches of this Mania card. And that is Liv Morgan versus the champion, Stephanie Vaquer. I think this build has been awesome.
Why?
That's how I feel.
Give me some deets, man. Sell me, but
I love a story that feels real and authentic, and I think that the hatred between these two and the level that it's funny when we're talking about rating all the different women's wrestlers, it's very hard to place where Liv Morgan lands in all of this because she is consistent.
7. No, I'm just joking. Just
throw a number.
7.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, like she's consistent. She's a good character. She puts on serviceable matches, and Stephanie Vaquer is. I think Liv has really elevated her WWE version of her character better than anyone has since she's made the transition over.
Stephanie Vaquer?
Yeah, not considering her NXT stuff, but like since she's come to the main roster, I think Liv has gotten the Stephanie Vaquer that we've all been waiting for out of her. And that is why, like I said, I think this is one of the best built. It feels like real beef. And that's what I look for in a match. I like the reality aspect of things.
Yeah, I think both of these girls are really, really talented. And like you were saying, like it's tough to kind of pick like where this is going to go. But that's only because they both feel like people that I would invest in because they're so talented in completely different ways. The interesting thing is going to be like Stephanie's developing and like we're going to see her grow on screen, and then Liv feels like somebody who's trying to make like a crossover kind of situation. So it's going to be interesting because her success is not just what am I doing in WWE. It's going to end up being like, well, how does that movie go that she just filmed, and how does the song work out and all that kind of stuff. She's doing a bunch of. Seems like she has a lot of different like what's the thing like something
Avenues?
in pots and something. She has a lot of like hands and different whatever the fuck. But like she just has like a lot of different options that she can really go with, and it's going to be interesting to see where she is in like a year because I think that movie that she filmed it will be out by then.
Right. I'm going to be unpopular here because I think this match is going to be incredible. I think they're two of my favorite people to see in the ring, and I think the build has been awful.
Really?
Yeah. I think that every interaction has been the same, and I haven't. She sort of toyed with. I know she won the Royal Rumble. Great pick to win the Royal Rumble. She sort of went back and forth, and it felt kind of random that she picked Stephanie Vaquer to me. And I think that they've just done the same thing every week. But I'm actually genuinely excited about the match because I think that they're two of the top stars in the company right now, and I think it's going to be just an incredible match. But I haven't enjoyed the build.
I think they have a lot of what Drew and Jacob have at the moment, which those are the two on this card that I feel like have a true hatred for one another, like a visceral hatred for one another. You know, Becky and AJ are rivals, but like I don't feel the hatred in the same way. And I think they've done a really good job conveying that in this feud. And I really like my realism in wrestling. That's where one of my favorite wrestlers of the modern generation is Kevin Owens, because Nothing feels scripted, performative. It just feels like this is the guy. And I think you were speaking highly on Sammy. Sammy's character is just, this is the guy. And you feel like you know Sammy, and then you like side with him and stuff like that. We're not going to talk about the fact that like Aleister Black has taken over Karrion Kross's role and is just kind of trying to turn everyone to the dark side for apparently no reason whatsoever. But aside from that, I think the realism of it is one of the things that really draws me to wrestling. And that's why the Bloodline feud works so well.
No, I agree. I think the reason why the Sammy, I mean I think like the whole idea of the Bloodline is something that WWE is going to have to keep like everyone's going to keep comparing stuff to that. But like that was also just like a lightning in a bottle kind of moment as well.
Yeah,
like
I think. I thought there was more to that. Sorry.
No, I got nothing.
You left us speechless. That's what it is.
Well, and one of the things, that's actually a really good segue, because when we talk about the realism, and there is ample background to build on for the main event of night one, which is Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. And they've done nothing with the history between these two guys, because we've got Pat McAfee involved, and Randy Orton has felt like a background character in his own main event. And this is one of the worst built main events I can remember for WrestleMania in some time. I don't think Pat McAfee has been particularly great on the mic. I don't fully understand why he's trying to start a side feud with CM Punk. I don't know why they've turned TKO into a heel faction when it's the people who run the company that owns WWE, and none of them are going to become on screen as villains. I don't know what they're doing here. And I know Ari Emanuel is allegedly the person that got Pat McAfee involved. And the thing I just want to ask is to what end? Because you can easily tell an Orton and Cody story with things like legacy and things like them both having famous fathers and all the history that they have and the mentorship and all that stuff. And instead we go this route.
Gen Z loves Cowboy Bob Orton. They love they're dying to hear about Cowboy Bob.
Yeah, they want more Ted DiBiase Jr. That's what the people need. He's not in any trouble.
No, he's good. I think he got acquitted.
He did get acquitted, yeah. Still a chance he shows up.
Steve?
No, go ahead. Are you going to say something?
No, you. It's you.
You know what gets me about this a little bit is that they had it going. Like I actually loved the fact that this whole thing about like him giving permission to Randy to go to the dark side, and he was sort of this tweener, like, you know, he was obviously going to go babyface at the end of it. You know, I think that's probably or stay babyface at the end of it. But I think that was like the natural start of it. And I don't know what they're doing with this TKO thing. I will say this about the Pat McAfee thing, which I don't like it. Okay, nobody likes it. But you're talking about it. And this may be a case where, even though everybody hates it, talking about it puts WrestleMania, perceived WrestleMania, in the broader conversation because people are mad about it. I think that I don't know. Obviously, none of us know what's really going on behind the scenes. We don't really know. I think that bringing in...
I was actually there. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, maybe you know.
Unreal Season 3 coming soon.
Gurveer. It's
just talking about Pat McAfee. I was like, how do you
Black.
Maybe you should go.
But I mean, I think the Jelly Roll edition actually is a legitimately attempt to pivot. You know, it makes a little more sense. But Jelly Roll? It's obviously not Jelly. Well, I think bringing Jelly Roll in is WWE trying to compensate for this Pat McAfee thing? It's like, well, now we have another guy.
I don't think so. I think that was always the plan. That doesn't feel like a pivot to me, even a little bit. No, I think if I'm being honest, I get people being upset with Pat McAfee and like they have their own expectations of what the story was supposed to be. But what you're getting is probably gonna be kind of fun. It should be like a fun main event. Like I don't know if it's gonna be like the last year him and Cena, like that level. Like I don't think it's gonna be like that. But I think it's going to end up being like a more fun match. It's probably going to have a lot of shenanigans. But if I'm being honest, Pat McAfee is a very good talker. I don't see a world where like they can't figure this out. Maybe they can figure it out. I'm not saying like I'm optimistic, but like I do think there's a possibility that a guy that's that good at talking can figure out like a managerial space in wrestling. Like I think that's very fair. And I don't see why it's like so absurd for him to like try that. It might be the wrong time. It might not feel the best for a lot of people, but it feels like a more longer term swing because they probably have an idea of like, maybe we can turn this Pat McAfee thing into like, I don't know, like what if he was like, not Bobby the Brain, but like imagine he had like a family or like just a bunch of people and like just elevated them by bringing him on his show all the time or whatever, man. They're taking swings. I respect a swing. I don't care that much about this main event though, if I'm being honest.
I think the thing with McAfee is I don't think that he has no space in wrestling. Like I think you're right. I think he could very much come into like a managerial role or something like that. But I think that if your goal of a promo is to build a match, I'm going to say work rate again, Gurveer. Just wait for it. You take work rate out of it. Are you more interested, based on what Pat McAfee has said, in Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes or in Pat McAfee versus CM Punk? And that's where I think the issue is you've built a match that you're not getting because it's been so unfocused, the introduction of him, and he hasn't really enhanced this feud in any way, shape, or form.
That's what I was gonna. Sorry, I hope I didn't cut you off. I agree with you. To me, it's not that he's in it. I got no hate on Pat McAfee for even being involved. It's that it doesn't make any sense. It's what he's saying. His promo was how wrestling sucks, and that's fine for a heel promo, but it doesn't need to be part of this main event. Like it doesn't help me want Randy Orton to win the match. Like you were this is what I mean. And you build towards CM Punk. Like McAfee can go. Like his matches with Adam Cole years ago in NXT, they were good. He did a good. They know how to. So a match between CM Punk and Pat McAfee, sure. At Backlash, maybe, but the promo, like even if he came in to support Randy, because Randy called him and said, "I need some help. I need some guidance or something." Fine, but he came out and he just said, "This sucks, guys. Wrestling, it doesn't make any sense at all because other than the fact that people didn't like some of the matches that were coming along, they took down the whole product and it didn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense."
I actually do agree with that. I don't like the idea of them constantly shitting on how bad the TV show is. It's like, I don't know, like what's the point? But I think a grander point of all this is like who really ultimately cares what happens with Pat McAfee, respectfully. This isn't like Randy Orton's big moment or something. It ultimately comes down to Cody. And it's like, all right, cool. What is this going to do for Cody? And on one side is what is it going to do for Cody? And on the other side, it's always going to be a situation like I've been talking about this whole card. It's like, all right, cool. What are you going to do to step up and make everybody walk away and be like, I was wrong? Or, it ended up being great or whatever. Because if Cody does that, then like huge props. Because then he does another situation where he's given the ball of another Mania main event and he has to deliver. And he probably feels some kind of way that last year he didn't deliver. And maybe this year I got to make sure that this thing is met with some positivity or hopefully like overwhelming positivity.
Obviously, scheduling plays a part, but it is funny if you look at this Pat McAfee character and how he's come in, that had this been The Rock, people would have had no issue with it. It would have made a ton of sense. Him coming in, trying to get Randy to once again get Cody on behalf of TKO, which he is on the board of. And it's like they had an idea. I don't know this, obviously, but it's almost like they had an idea for The Rock and they didn't get him. And they were like, we could still do that idea, but with Pat McAfee. And we'll include Ari Emanuel and TKO and things like that.
I doubt they thought they could get The Rock this year, especially because we know he's doing that movie with Benny Safdie, the Chicken Man or whatever it is, where he's losing so much weight. I doubt he wants to be seen like in a WWE setting where he's lost so much weight.
Yeah,
I bet he's gonna, like, at the very least, he's gonna wait a while until we're gonna see The Rock again, if he ever wants to.
Yeah, but I think the way you laid out the final boss character and the connection to TKO and stuff, it's really similar to what they did with Aleister Black, where they're like, we have this great story with Karrion Kross, and he's gone, so we're just going to put someone in the exact same role. And Pat McAfee feels like he's jumped into the final boss character, the voice box for TKO.
I mean, just because you have a Charizard in your Pokemon deck doesn't mean you get to use him if you don't draw him, all right? They didn't have access to The Rock. It is what it is.
Well, but that's the thing. If you don't have access to The Rock, don't use a storyline that you spent all these years building him as like the TKO voice and just throw someone else in there. Instead, find a different way to incorporate McAfee if that's what you want to do so bad.
With what Steve was saying, where he is getting like a reaction, like he is getting a reaction.
He is getting a reaction.
Yeah.
And I would say this too. This is where I think the things that we don't know is going on. Like we're talking like they inserted Pat McAfee. The rumor is they didn't. That he was inserted by ESPN, who wanted him involved because he's on there and it gives him another revenue for, like, this is the rumor that you hear, right? All these little stories. And I don't think that if they inserted The Rock into this storyline, sure, it would have made sense with the whole Rock versus Cody thing they built over the last couple of years. But if Rock came out and said, you know what? Wrestling sucks. I don't think it would have helped anything either. It's like, we got to save the business. Well, it's your business. You own this business.
Yeah. There is a weird thing, though, with wrestling where, like, sometimes somebody comes out and cuts a promo and it's just very, like, from the heart, and it ends up being, like, positive, or, like, at the very least, like, the catalyst for positive change. How many times has someone said, this place sucks, and then they become, like, a big star?
Yeah.
Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever. Like, or, like, it becomes, like, the beginning of a different wave. And it's like, you know, this kind of stuff happens, too. I think people just... they're thinking too much a little bit, but I understand why you would have such a negative sentiment.
But when Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior are fighting in the main event at WrestleMania 6, they didn't have, Pete Rose walk out and talk about how WrestleMania sucks. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
A Pete Rose reference on a WrestleMania 42 podcast.
Is he the appropriate reference in that situation? WrestleMania 6?
I was trying to think back then.
89 or whatever it is? I don't know if he's
Regis?
1991.
Regis,
sure,
maybe?
Regis gets involved.
Is good. Regis actually is good. Maybe Leno, maybe Carson. I don't know who's around at that time.
Okay, Johnny Carson comes in and talks about how wrestling sucks.
That
inserts himself into the main event of WrestleMania 6. I don't think you're going to like it anymore.
Oh my God, I would love if it was like Norm Macdonald being like, this place fucking sucks.
Guys, you see the thing here. It doesn't, it's all scripted. It doesn't make any sense.
I think when we take the Pat McAfee stuff aside, my hope is that this leads to, if not a heel turn from Cody, the character getting some edge, finding his inner, like, anti-hero a little bit, because I think a lot of people are kind of tired of Cody in the way his character is currently portrayed, and that's an issue a lot of people had with him in AEW as well, where he's staled a little bit. And when you're talking about the new people that are coming in, the Trick Williams, the Obafemis, the Jacob Fatus, I think he needs to do something if he's going to justify being the guy Cena passed the torch to. I think he needs to do something to justify being on top of the card and being an interesting enough character.
I think there's always been like a sentiment with like Cena stuff where it's like, all right, somebody else come and take this spot. and it's gonna just rely on somebody else like stepping up, becoming so hot that it's like undeniable. And until that happens, I think you're gonna see Cody as QB1. And you know what? He's great.
I'm fine with him as QB1. Like I said, I would just like to see him get a little more edge. Not necessarily go full like Stone Cold Steve Austin, but have a little something to the character.
Do you want to know what my prediction was for the end of this match before the Pat McAfee stuff? Do you want to hear that? Because I thought I called it. I thought I had this down. Because they'd done this whole
You're telling us your wrong prediction before.
No, but bear with me.
That's a take.
It's crazy. I was thinking The Rock was going to come out and just rock bottom everybody.
No, hear me out. I feel like this was a legitimate way to end this match because they were doing this whole thing about how he has permission to listen to the voices in his head. So I said that Randy was going to go for the punt. That was going to be the big climax. He would decide not to do it, and then Cody was going to punt him, and that was going to be the heel turn for Cody.
That's not big enough for a heel turn.
Oh, I think it would be because the punt was like the illegal move, right? And I think that's
But I think people would.
I'm just saying, you brought an NFL punter into the
Sure.
So I mean, but I really thought that was going to be like the final move of this match.
I thought I was giving them credit, and the person that was going to be on the phone, I know people were saying it could have been The Rock or something. Regardless of whether it would have worked, I thought it might have been Aleister Black.
It might be.
I thought you were going to get some kind of a faction with him and Sammy, and because SmackDown really doesn't have like a faction like that where Raw does. You've got the MFTs and you've got the Wyatt Six, and those are kind of lower than mid-card tier factions. And I think you don't have your faction at the top of the card. And I thought, oh God, there must be some reason they're doing all this stuff with Aleister Black.
I'm gonna need better work. I'm gonna need a better work rate on this fantasy booking. All right, that's what I need.
Hey, the work rate. Well, Randy's a slow worker, but
you're all wrong. It's Danhausen. Danhausen was on the phone the entire time.
That would have been something. Just curse Cody. All right, so that's going to be the end.
Also,
of
though,
one.
Hold on. I think the interesting thing is like going back to Cody turning heel. Truthfully, you got to do that huge, as big as you possibly can. Like, I don't see a world where they ever actually pull that off, and it's not like done in a massive way. It has to be like he joins The Rock or something. Like, it can't be, half-hearted. It has to be like so devastating, and he has to be truthfully hated so much because he's so beloved by like kids and stuff. If you're actually going to do it, you got to go hard.
I think the only way to turn Cody heel and make it last is Cody has to turn on Dusty. Because everything is
dad doesn't even make any sense.
Wow.
Because everything throughout Cody, all of Cody's feuds, people always are like, Dusty was great to me, Dusty was that, yada yada yada. And then he's always like this shadow that's in Cody's feud. And I think if Cody were to come out and be like, you guys always comparing me to Dusty, I'm better than my dad ever was, yada yada yada. I think that's probably his.
No, that
line isn't bad, but exactly. The line isn't bad, but he's not going to do like some big. Like he could say like, you guys are always like praising my dad, but like I've reached heights that my dad never reached. Blah blah blah. Like saying that's cool, but like he's not going to be like, my dad sucks. Like that would be absurd.
But I'll say this too about. My dad sucks. So unnecessary.
What a quote. Put on it. They'd put it on a T-shirt too because they love that.
Like how Dusty sucks eggs. Like
here. But this is, I think, a legitimate problem we have right now. Going back to the fans, and I'm not saying the fans are the problem per se, but here's the other thing: if Cody turns heel, they cheer for him more. Like, it is hard to get a heel hated. And this is why I give credit to Logan Paul. He's staying hated. And there's a whole lot of reasons for that. I understand. But look at
Logan
Randy,
Paul, man.
Yeah, huge.
Randy took his
line.
I do. Now, as a wrestler. But Randy put Cody's head in the steel steps and whacked him with a steel chair. And the crowd was chanting one more time. And because the crowd, like, even with like the Vision, Breaker does like an insane spear and they're going one more time. And you've got like, it is a fascinating relationship right now. The fans are almost taking over the storytelling. And I think that's a problem.
I think it's just always been part of it, especially for the last couple generations. Like, that's just part of the game.
Not like right now. I don't think it's like right now. I feel like it's...
Again, I was there. I was there when... But like, think about it. When you were in like 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, when Cena was in the ring, the fans hijacked the show every single time. The weird narrative everybody has now of like, oh, we always love Cena. Like, no, that was not the case. No. Yeah. When we were kids, people were chanting crazy stuff at John Cena.
If Cena wins, we riot. That was the sign in the crowd.
It's always been like the fans have always had a contentious relationship with the WWE, but I think that's just like where it is with like on the world stage kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, they're the big league and all that kind of stuff.
I think there's something about the fans being influenced in how they turn a character. Like, I think whether they wanted to do it or not, the fans are turning Trick Williams babyface. Like, they have no choice. Like, that's happening.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of stuff works. It's when the fans don't respond to something off the top. Sometimes it feels like WWE is a little too quick to pull the trigger. Like, it would be, Steve, here you go. Before we get to night 2, here's going to be your chance, because we're going to talk about Danhausen. It would be like if the Danhausen reaction from night 1 happened and Paul was just like, all right, let's pull the plug on this guy.
Paul who? Triple H?
Sorry,
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. Sorry. I almost called him Hunter.
So he's like your bud.
Go by that.
He's like your buddy. It's like you and Paul.
Logan.
Nick and Paul and Nick. I always hear about those guys.
Vince's son-in-law. If he pulled the plug on Danhausen.
You can find Nick Van Dinther on Instagram
But yeah, I think we can all agree that initial debut.
Don't lump me in with your statements. I'm just joking. Just joking. Just talking shit. We're an hour and a half. I'm gonna start making some absurd jokes now.
Horrible reaction. If you didn't know who Danhausen was, they gave you no reason to care. It was just like letting the air out of a balloon. And they very easily could have been like canceling a TV show after a couple bad episodes. They could have just been like, we're done with this. He's not going to work. He's going to be on main event from now on. And they didn't. And they let him be an on-screen character. And the fans fucking love this guy.
But they did it. See, I agree with you 100% on that, because the turnaround is insane. They gave him one thing to do 24 hours later, and all of a sudden he's a superstar. They took the belt off Dom by cursing him. But I think a lot of times, like Danhausen, as much as he's established himself, the average fan, first of all, they didn't want him. They wanted Chris Jericho, which, great. I loved Chris Jericho back in the day, etc. People had decided that was who was in there.
Mm.
And so they were disappointed in that. And then he came out dancing with these vampire women, and now that I didn't know who he was either. I was watching with my family, and we went, who? And I heard that he was coming. I knew nothing about him, and I thought, what the heck are they doing? It took one night to turn it around. And yes, you're right. I think they do pull the trigger sometimes too quickly. But I think that they knew right off the bat that this was going to be a negative, and all they needed was one instance to bring him back. Some of these, when the fans just decide that they hate somebody for no reason, it's hard to watch, because if WWE really wants, they want to turn Sammy heel, sure, but they don't need to, but they do, because everybody hates him.
You said Danhausen was like a vampire or something, but he's the guy from from Exorcist, Pazuzu.
Is that who he is?
That's what it's based on.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever he was.
I'm surprised you wouldn't know that, like film buff.
As a film buff, I've seen every movie and I know every reference. No, I mean, look, he's very evil. He's very nice, but I didn't, you know, like that's fine.
No, he's hilarious.
Maybe my work rate isn't as high as yours in this area. But...
Oh, Nick. Use that again in a future podcast. See how you feel about that.
I don't know another place I could talk about work rate. I could talk about cage match ratings if we'd like. I can put that in here too.
That's hilarious.
If I'm not coming across as too much of a mark right now.
All right, night 2 feels like, if I'm being honest, night 2 actually is pretty hype. Like it's a good card.
The only thing about night 2 is I feel like you could have split the women's matches 2 and 2.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little nitpicky, if I'm being honest.
I think it says
like
to how
done that.
Night 1 felt. Like they were like, okay, well, let's put the women's matches, which look really good. We'll put them on there. I don't know whether that was it or not. But
well, I know you guys don't share the opinion of the build, but like, yeah, I think Vaquer and Liv is something that is really helping night 1 along.
I didn't say anything negative about that. That was all Steve, all right?
But we'll get to
I didn't like the build. The match is going to be phenomenal, but it'd be nice.
Too late, Steve. You're negative as fuck. Everybody knows it.
Note of negative Nelly Steve.
Guy. Wait a minute.
I don't know. That's not the perception these days. I'm seeing a lot of.
Yo, the episode that they turned on the pastor. That's wild.
What a jerk.
How would Steve turn heel? He's like, I would also diss my father.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That would be quite a heel turn for the pastor.
No, it's Steve. He turned on the Holy Father. That's
my joke. All right, goddamn, he just stepped on my joke.
You're right, Nick. That is a funny joke. I like that you came up with that all by yourself.
All right. Well, let's jump into night 2. Once again, we're back on ESPN, and they are allegedly starting things off with the other feud that I think, even though it's simplistic, is one of the best built feuds on this WrestleMania, and that is Femi versus Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other matches on night 2?
Allegedly. I think they've got lightning in a bottle with Femi. And I think this week was because the one thing you wondered if you hadn't seen him in NXT was, can this guy cut a promo? Can this guy be anything imposing on the mic? And he proved that this week. I think he checks all the boxes. And I know you said Logan Paul's in store for a world title. In a world where we have Braun Breaker and Femi, I don't think there's room for Logan Paul to have a world title because I feel like these are your next guys up.
Yeah, there's really there's a lot of guys that I would prioritize more than Logan Paul, to be completely honest. But I know what you mean. Like it feels like it's inevitable at some point for sure. It does feel like that. It does feel like that is inevitable.
Come at me, bro. No,
I'm just saying.
I can't wait till the WrestleMania 43 episode. I have you guys back on, and Steve's wearing his Logan Paul WWE branded shirt.
That's right.
With his Logan Paul character in the background.
With the belt that he's earned. Because he wins Money in the Bank.
But Oba versus Femi. Oba versus Femi. Oba versus Brock.
Femi. It's really a war within himself. Is what.
Yeah.
It's like a lot.
Very introspective of a match.
Am
but
I
like,
the leader? Am I really?
That's some Firefly Funhouse shit right there.
But low key, like Brock is such a good test for a big guy like this, because it's like I was saying this whole time. It's like, all right, cool. How are you gonna do when you actually do get this opportunity? Clearly, he's been killing it. He's so beloved already, and people are imitating him all the time. I saw like Israel Adesanya was talking about Femi, and like there's just so many people that are on the wave. So I don't see how you don't like try to do something huge with him specifically on WrestleMania, but in general, obviously he's like a massive priority.
Does he win?
I hope so. I think he should. But I understand like people being like, oh, maybe he's not going to win this one because they're going to have a bunch of matches. But I don't like that. I think just this is the moment, deliver, and let's move on to something else. Because I think Brock has like how many more months left where he's going to be actually wrestling. Like I don't know if he should be just wrestling Oba Femi for the next like 3 months and then randomly wrestling Gunther. And that's it.
Yeah, I think that there was a time that I thought Oba could lose this because they were going to extend the feud. The more I look at this and the way he's gotten over, I think this needs to go like Lesnar and Goldberg, the first one, where Goldberg just came in and killed Brock.
Yeah, that could happen.
And I think Oba should just destroy him. And
that could totally happen. Yeah.
Brock be bewildered. You can tell some story with him and Paul, and that eventually leads to him and Gunther. But I think Oba should run through this guy.
Mm.
All right, so here's what's going to happen over the next few months. I think I'm on the side right now that Oba wins this match. I think it's closer. I don't think he blows him away. But I think the only reason I can allow myself to think that is because of Seth freaking Rollins. I think Seth Rollins is Oba Femi's saving grace for this match because if the rumors are true and Brock Lesnar is going to retire at SummerSlam and Gunther is going to be the guy to hand it to him, Brock cannot lose this match and then go on to that. He'll look pathetic.
That's not true.
I do. I think so. I think that
Cena lost to Brock before facing Gunther, and like it was fine.
This is what I mean. But they've built up Brock again to be the final boss type thing. But I think he can squash Seth Rollins and then separate from Paul Heyman. Be babyface Brock for a couple of months. Let him be Cowboy Brock again because Cowboy Brock was incredible.
Wait, squash Seth Rollins. Who squashed Seth Rollins?
I think Brock is going to squash. I think having, because they teased the Seth Rollins thing before Oba showed up. Seth was in the ring with him.
Oh, okay. I don't think they're going to pay that off. I really don't. I think that was just like just in case. Let's do a temperature check. Maybe this will be the thing we do. But I think they realized like, nah, this isn't it.
I think they did that because if Brock is retiring, they have an excuse. They have somebody that they can feed to Brock that won't be affected by it. Sure. And then I think that they can turn him on Gunther, and eventually they might even. I think Oba's a bump in the road, and I don't know whether Oba beats him or not. I think right now I go back and forth. I think Oba's going to beat him.
I think he's hot. You should run with it.
I think if we're doing a little fantasy booking here, I think if you do the Oba Goldberg style catches Lesnar off guard and beats him thing, and then Lesnar comes out and goes, "It was a fluke. You never would have beaten me like that." And instead of giving him this rematch, you have Gunther come out and like, whether it's cut a promo on Lesnar, attack Lesnar, whatever, and go, "I'm tired of you talking. Like this was no fluke. You want to face someone, face me." And I think you can get past the Lesnar Oba Femi loss for Lesnar when you do it that way.
I think you guys are overthinking this. If I'm being completely honest, I think you could have Oba just have an awesome match with Brock, beat the shit out of him in the finish, he wins, and start something else on Monday, and everyone will forget it, and then Oba will just be more over. It'll be fun.
And I think the special guest referee will be Logan Paul. And
I think it'll be fine. I think regardless, it'll be fine. I don't see Brock or Oba being pigeonholed, regardless of whatever the outcome is. If Brock wins even, and Oba never gets a rematch, I'm sure he'll be fine. Regardless, they'll be fine. Both of these guys are pretty bulletproof.
Yeah, with the announcement that this is Brock's last year, I don't think you need to like take care of the character in the same way.
Did they announce that, or is that like confirmed?
Cena accidentally said it.
He said it on a radio program, I believe. Okay.
On Chris Van Vliet. Brock did he?
I thought Brock said in a radio program that this is probably it for him. He didn't confirm, like, say 100% it's it for him, but he said, like, I'm getting to the end of my rope.
But Cena said that
and I think the character is.
Yeah.
Yes. But I think that Oba comes out of this unscathed, even with a loss. But I hope that they don't give him one because, like you said, Gurveer, you go with the hot hand, and he's the hot hand right now.
100%.
But if he wins this match, he has to be in a heavyweight title match, like, next week. Like, this is the peak of the mountain. You've made him the mountain again. Otherwise, why did he destroy Cena in 30 seconds?
That's the most interesting thing when it comes to Oba is what a lot of these people, we have an idea from storytelling where they're going to go next. And an Oba feud after Lesnar is not clear in any way, shape, or form. And I think that's interesting as well. What you're going to do with this guy.
That's the fun of it.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens WrestleMania or Raw after WrestleMania. Yeah. It'll be fun.
Then the next up on the card, still on ESPN, which I think this will be a fun one for people who aren't wrestling fans that are flicking through the channels. We have the Intercontinental Championship ladder match with Penta, Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Rusev, and Rey Mysterio.
How do you think the work rate's going to be on this?
It's going to be high work rate match.
So
Who's putting in the time? Who's putting in the time?
Who do you think is going to win this one? I think this is actually an interesting one in terms of how you can actually have an outcome. I think the match obviously is going to be awesome. I think these are the kinds of things that, like you said, great showcase for a bunch of young dudes. It's a ladder match, a bunch of fun, different kinds of situations that'll happen, and you have the opportunity to make like a bunch of people. Rusev feels like he's finding his rhythm a little bit. Dragon Lee's awesome, obviously. Personally, I would go with Javon Evans. I just feel like you have the opportunity to do like a youngest ever kind of situation. And if you're not going to do it with him in any capacity, like I don't see them putting like a world title on him anytime soon. So do the Intercontinental. He's the youngest Intercontinental champion of all time. Like that sounds awesome to me. And he can hold on to that for the rest of his career.
I don't think when you think about these like mid-card titles, you try and think like what the legacy story is. I don't think Rey has one, and I think the big one with the Intercontinental title now is it's the last title Sheamus hasn't won, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the big storyline here. So to me, I have Sheamus feud with whoever comes out of this, and I don't know. I could see it be like a Rusev or something like that if that's the next route you're going.
Was Sheamus like teased or something?
Sorry,
was Sheamus like teased or something?
No, but the whole story for the last
year. The whole thing that he's never had his Intercontinental title.
Sure, but you could pull that trigger like whenever you want. You don't have to do that anytime soon.
You could whenever, but I think that's why it's important that whoever wins this match feels like a transitional champion in a way, because I don't think any of these guys, like Penta's a champion right now, but I don't think any of these other guys are people that they view as long-term title holders, including Javon. And I don't think you want to give Javon the belt and have him lose it again to whoever their plan is to carry that belt in the future.
I don't think that matters. I think any of these guys can carry it, and I think if you have the opportunity to do something historic, I think you should do it. And especially like Javon, like talk about like a guy who should be getting his spot or like should be getting the spotlight this weekend specifically. Like the three dudes who are walking out with huge like that should be walking out being talked about the most should be that trio of Oba, Trick, and Javon. I just don't see how like any other way of like what's the point? Why even do that? Let's get these guys in a great position coming out of this WrestleMania, and by the time you come back next year, those three guys are going to be in hugely prominent positions. And why wouldn't you want that?
I don't think Javon needs to win the title to do that. Look at Chelsea Green at Money in the Bank in Toronto when she went through the chair off the top. I think Javon was my pick for this match until Rey Mysterio got into it.
Yeah.
You think Rey's going to win?
I don't think there's any reason for Rey Mysterio to be in this match unless you're giving Rey Mysterio. I think this is just where I think is going. What we've seen in the last couple of years is that guys that are coming to the end, they give him one more title. And I think this is Rey getting a title, and I think he's coming near the end, and I think Dom's going to retire him sometime in the next few months. He's getting hurt too much. He's in incredible shape, but he is in his 50s.
Yeah.
And I think that Rey Mysterio takes this belt, and I think he has it for 2 months, and I think that he retires sometime in the next 5. Maybe SummerSlam, but if you're going to lose Brock and Rey Mysterio at SummerSlam, that seems like a little overkill. But
yeah, I don't think you do both.
I think that Rey is coming near the end, and I think they're going to give him his flowers. And,
I just think it's such a missed opportunity to not do something bigger with Rey and Dom. Like we had them wrestle at WrestleMania 39, I think it was, and it was like freaking awesome. Like that was one of my favorite WrestleMania matches moments in the past couple of years, just because of how it established Dom. And I think it would be really fun. I feel like everybody's been talking about, or like at least teasing this idea of like maybe one day they do like a hair versus mask match. And I think that's just such a good situation. It just establishes so much of lucha culture. It's great for both of them, and also ultimately like that next feud of Dom and Rey can easily be the reason they turn Dom into like this beloved babyface when eventually he saves his dad at some point. The day he saves his dad will be the day he's like the biggest babyface ever.
I hope they never turn him babyface. I love the fact that Rey has never been heel, and I want Dom to never be face. And even if people love him, like I just let him continue to be that guy. He's so good. Like,
he's so good, but I think that's why you give him a chance to do the other stuff too, and especially if you're gonna make him like win like in higher positions. Like he's just he's a little bit smaller, so I imagine it would be like imagine him like Oba, him versus Oba. Like he would have to be somebody like at some point like guys who are a priority eventually facing each other. Like him versus.
I was like, he's just going to start running through people all of a sudden.
Well, I just mean like whenever he faces like those guys, like he's going to be like the smaller dude. So I would imagine he's going to also kind of come off as an underdog a little bit, or he can do the whole cheating thing. I don't know. Regardless, I think Dom is such a big priority, and I don't really see Rey winning this. I don't think he needs it. I think you walk away with somebody who could use it.
Well, let's jump into Dom's match because we have Dom versus the Demon Finn Balor, which I understand because I understand why they pre-announced it. As like a selling point, but the idea that the Demon is something that is like a special attraction you're promoting instead of it. I know that that's something that Balor himself has been like. That was a big issue we had with WWE's usage of the character. Was earlier on the Demon was like, I became the Demon, and it was like it overtook me. It was like his alternate personality or something like that. And the fact that they're just being like, hey, he's going to wrestle this match in makeup. I wish the Demon was something that we didn't know going in, and he came out in that face paint, and we got that ridiculous
Fully agree. I think nobody else disagrees besides the idea of like promoting this thing, which I don't understand. Like who cares? Like if people like Finn Balor regardless. I don't think they would like not buy a ticket because it's like, oh man, he's not gonna be the Demon this time.
Or the reverse. Like, I don't think anyone's going, oh, he's a Demon, I'm gonna buy a ticket. Like that's not how this works.
There's a certain point with this, like where you talk about whether or not there's interference behind the scenes. Again, like this is how we don't. Gurveer knows, we don't know, but what's going on behind the scenes? But like. Yeah, like why not just tell us who wins the matches? Like, hey, you want to see Finn win a match? Come on, like it doesn't make any sense. Now, if you bring out the Demon Dominic Mysterio as a surprise, I would be all in. Let's go.
I hope they have cool entrances. Dom is like one of those dudes that just has awesome entrances, and it would be cool to. Actually, it's kind of true. Like having like something that's kind of opposite of that as like a presentation, that would be a cool reason why you do announce the Demon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm not like a hater of the Judgment Day, but I think a lot of what it was ran its course, and I would like to see kind of a reignition of Finn Balor coming out of this, because everything that happened with him when he won his world title and then he got injured and then he kind of went the way of like a Shinsuke Nakamura, where he went and just kind of fell lower and lower down the card. I'd like to see get a little bit more Finn Balor in.
So you want to put him in the main event?
Not necessarily the main event, but like I want to see him be Finn Balor instead of like the Judgment Day featuring Finn Balor.
He could win Money in the Bank. That's about all you can do at this point. Give him Money in the Bank. He wins the title, has it for 2 months, and he's gone, and then he's back down. But he's not going to be that top guy. They have too many guys they want to uplift, and I don't. This is my fear of Finn Balor without the Judgment Day. Like the Judgment Day gave him a life because he was stuck.
And I think like the stuff he's been doing for the past couple of years has been pretty great. Like,
oh yeah,
it's been such a rejuvenation for him, and I don't think that's like a good enough reason to like doubt what he could do coming out of this too. I don't see why he can't, continue to reinvent himself and try different things and see where he's at in like a year or whatever. But I think it'd just be coming out of the Judgment Day stuff. It would be cool to see him kind of just try different stuff, see how he feels with that, and like just develop as a character. And but I'm not so big on like getting rid of the Judgment Day. I just think it's like a cool thing. Like, why shouldn't groups exist in wrestling companies? You should have friends. That should exist. You know what I mean? Like, what, you're on the road with these people all the time. You're telling me like none of you are cool with each other? Like, that doesn't make sense.
You're not here to make friends. You're here to make money. Don't you know?
No, we're not at the main event yet. That's No, I think Judgment Day should be one of those ones that they're like, it's lasted so long. I think it should be one of those ones that you're talking about in the same level as like the Bullet Club, right? I really do like it. This was a thing that was supposed to be a freak heel turn for Edge. He lasted, and then Cody got hurt, so he had to go babyface, and they kicked. But they became something special, and they've continued that story. Like it's been treading water recently.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's so much you can do with people coming in, going out, people coming. I think I don't want the Judgment Day to go anywhere. I really.
I don't want to see them disband. I just want to see Balor out of them. I think Balor in the Judgment Day was run its course.
He did already, right? He's the one that
he's
got
out now.
Yeah. I think he needed a fresh coat of paint. Not necessarily the Judgment Day itself, but like it was time to, regardless of where you're going to put him on the card. Again, it reminds me similar to what they did with Nakamura, where he just kind of fell into obscurity, mid-card level wrestler. And I'd like to see if they've got a little bit something left in the tank with a Finn Balor.
I always feel like I have to like come to like people's defenses because it's like this guy fucking got sucked into this spot, blah blah. But it's like won a Royal Rumble, had really incredible moments. Has wrestled for the WWE Championship multiple times. Just had a great match with AJ. I just think like put some respect on these people's names. You know what I mean? Like he's like Nakamura is a legendary dude.
I think they should go a completely different way with Finn Balor and like go with the accountant Finn Balor. Come on.
Vince isn't in charge anymore, Steve.
Ooh, like a Val Venus type gimmick
with Balor.
Val Venus, put him in a towel. He's got the abs. He's got the abs.
Lordy. Yeah, no, Shinsuke is someone who I would love to see in more high-profile matches. And for whatever reason, in the last, aside from the one little thing he did with AJ and his end of his career thing, I feel like they just kind of let him flounder in the mid-card. And they aren't even giving... The other thing that's important is I think the higher up on the card you are often means the lengthier matches you get. And someone like Shinsuke Nakamura thrives in longer matches, but he's not being given the chance to showcase them.
I think it's just different styles. It's hard to like make transitions from like a Japanese style to like American, and like his appeal is that he still keeps on like as much of that style as he can over here, but it's different. It's like I think people just have different kind of expectations. They had different kind of expectations of Shinsuke when he first started, and then it happens with a lot of people who transition from like Japan. They come to WWE, like they have to just adopt a different style, and because of that, like they might not live up to what you think might be their, ceiling or whatever. But like I think he's done like really. I even like where he is now. Like if he stopped wrestling today, like he's done incredible stuff. He's already like it's done. Like he's already done the thing,
Oh, like I said, it's not what he's done with what they gave him. It's what they're giving him. That's what that's what my issue lies.
Sure.
And
you say that with a lot of people though.
And maybe that changes because they love to do Japanese on Japanese. Maybe that changes with, I presume, Evil coming after Mania.
Yeah.
Maybe that's going to be a feud for Shinsuke. But I'd like to see him do more. And Balor's the same thing. I would like to see him in more high-profile matches. And I think he cemented that he should be when you had the mini feud with CM Punk.
I think it's just hard. It's just such a big roster, and there's so many guys that like clearly are priorities. Some guys who are so talented and like people who you see a lot of potential in. And it's like, how do you navigate all these different waters? And I think it ultimately comes down to like the individual, and that's why I keep bringing back like the point of like, all right, let's see what he's got of like any of these people, because it's like you have to be the one that when you're given these positions to rise up, because a lot of times there are like fan favorites who do get put in prominent positions and then they just don't deliver in the match or they don't deliver in the story. And then it's like they get knocked back down, but it's like, that's because they were given an opportunity and they had to deliver. And unfortunately, for whatever circumstances, it might be the crowd was weird that day. It might be they didn't get a good shake or that other person wasn't feeling that good, but it's just unfortunately like when the lights are on, what happens?
That's fair. And next up, I believe we have the U.S. Championship match, which, as we spoke about, is Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. I don't know if we're going to go full double turn here. I'm not sure where they're going to have the Sami Zayn character tread between face and heel.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like it's inevitable that Trick Williams comes out of this babyface.
Yeah.
The crowd just is denying the ability for this guy to be a heel.
Yeah, I think they just love him. Like, regardless of whatever happens, he's going to be loved if he's a good guy or a bad guy. They just think he's cool. I said it before. Same sentiment.
And he's even starting to do more babyface-ish stuff as well.
In what way? His last promos have been totally heel. Just everybody likes it. It's not unlike The Rock. Like, I'm not saying he's gonna be The Rock. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is
too late. I'm putting that down. Steve's take is Trick Williams is The Rock. That's not like is The Rock.
Okay.
But I think you made a great example there, Steve. The Rock was a babyface when he was saying a lot of that, when he was talking about Poontang Pie and all these heelish things that he would do. Like, it was as a babyface, and it feels like Trick is destined for that.
No, I could see that. But this is what I'm saying is like The Rock started that as a heel. He was the corporate champion, and he got over so much they couldn't deny it anymore. And I think that's so he could continue doing it. But I'm saying, like, right now, you say that he's doing babyface-ish things. I don't think he is. I think that, like in the example you said with The Rock got over as a babyface doing heel things in some ways. And I think that's where, by talking about Poontang Pie and all that stuff, like, people just bought into it. There's your quote. There's your thing that I said.
We made Steve say Poontang Pie.
Listen, both of you saying Poontang is unsettling for me personally.
But
it's natural for me. Right? You two, hilarious.
No, but really, like,
so often. But no, but that's what I mean.
It doesn't matter what your name is a heel ass thing to say to someone. And I think,
but he started doing it as
it's so heel. Fucking cool.
Yeah,
And
I think that's what Trick's doing.
Yeah.
He's turning heel things into babyface maneuvers.
Okay.
And I think that's
okay.
Yeah, I think that's a better way to word it.
Babyface things. He's not, but the people are into it, which is turning them babyface. I'm on board
what
with
he's doing is coming across in a positive way, regardless of whether it's initially intended as a heel response or not. He can't be heelish anymore unless he does something that's completely out of character. Everything he's doing is a babyface. It's almost asking for a babyface reaction at this point.
But that's the funny thing. Again, back to the crowds. Like I said with Sammy before, I said he's done nothing wrong. I really think they were trying to protect Carmelo from losing this match so that Trick and Mello can do their thing. But you might, the crowd may be at a point where they're forcing them to turn Sammy heel, because after this, if Sammy loses and he cuts a babyface promo and says, "You know what, Trick, you earn my respect," they boo him still.
Yeah.
Like it's a strange moment in his career where he may have to, because of the reactions he's getting.
And then next up on the card, the last match from the top, we have Rhea and Jade for the championship. I have some reservations about this match, but I think it'll be a really good chance to see what Rhea can get out of Jade in terms of the kind of matches she can get. And it's a big chance for Jade. And I think it's kind of unfortunate that we don't have Bianca because of injury. We don't have Naomi. That you kind of had to put these two together. So, but Rhea's going to be on the card, and I think that giving Jade this spotlight match is another chance for her to show what she can do.
Exactly. I think it's like it's good for both of them. It ends up being a situation. And also, it's just two like Amazon warriors like facing each other, and I think it's just cool because it's Jade being put in a really big spot. Like Rhea's clearly like the favorite over there, and if you can work with her, she's gonna be made. If she doesn't work out, that's going to be tough for her. Rhea, on the other side, is in a situation where, like, you know, she probably wants to deliver hugely in this, and if she can, she'll be so much better off for it too. It's just a situation where, like, it really does depend on the performance. They just got to deliver. Also, Rhea's been in so many situations where, like, she has had great performances at WrestleMania. That is a tough situation because now everyone's just going to compare, like, oh, how was this compared to her Charlotte match or the triple threat or whatever. And if people are going to be doing that, then like you really just want to deliver to the best of your ability.
Yeah, because unfortunately Jade isn't the caliber of a lot of the other people that Rhea has worked with.
Work
and
rate?
Doesn't have the experience. Yeah, the work rate is just not
doesn't
there.
Have the
guys.
work rate. It's back to the work rate.
Yeah, I think that there are ways unfairly that this can come back negatively on Rhea, but I think she's shown consistency. This is a chance for Jade to prove all of her doubters wrong.
I just think she's good, and I think she'll rise up to the occasion. And she's a star, you know, like she gets to do all the stuff, and like now she gets to have a WrestleMania moment. I think it's only like a win. There's no other way I can see it.
I am going to go on the flip side of what I said about the other women's title match on this one, in that I think that the build of this has been better than the match maybe. And I'm not taking anything away from the two of them, but I think that Liv and Stephanie Vaquer is going to be an incredible match, like a memorable match. I feel like this is going to be much shorter. I could be wrong, but I have enjoyed the build up to this. I think the best moment of this build up was when they made Rhea watch them beating on Io. I thought that was a perfect classic wrestling move of, like, we've seen it before, you know, we're going to make you watch us beat your friend. And I'm not saying that that's great. I'm saying that was a great build to make me care about the match more, giving her B-Fab and Michin, of all people, to like this mini faction, I think has really helped give Jade more of a character than just being amazing, you know, just being the bad girl gonna beat you up. I think it's given her more to work with, and I think it's made more of a threat to Rhea. I think that's really helped. Like, this story has made me believe that their match matters more than the other two hating each other, is what I'm saying. I really enjoyed, it sounds so terrible, I really enjoyed the EO beatdown. I didn't, but that's why it was good. because it was uncomfortable. It was like, oh. And then even the following week where Rhea's like, I'm taking them out one-on-one, you know, Io, don't worry about these two. Like, that was a good progression towards the match. I thought they've done a good job.
Yeah.
I think the only thing working against this match, not working against the match, but the only thing about this match is I think the most interesting thing coming out of it is still where things go with Rhea and Io. I think that is still not necessarily even if they're going to have a program, but they're almost doing this, like, there are undertones to that relationship. It's very, Gurveer would know this. It's very Golden Lovers-esque.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, which is a tag team from New Japan with Kenny Omega and
Kota
Ibushi, where they had a very similar kind of vibe. They went a little bit more
way further. Way further.
Yeah.
And also, like, that was like over years, and like, you never know, this could develop into something like that for sure. But I think that's good. I like the fact that they clearly have come from like the same class, the graduating class of NXT, and they're linked forever. Like, I always used to think that Bianca was the third one, obviously with the triple threat, but like she was the third in that equation. And I always thought that Bianca versus Rhea was like a guaranteed WrestleMania main event, and the fact that it never happened is very interesting to me. I just thought it was like a generational thing that was just waiting to happen, but I don't know, maybe we'll never get it.
It's that pesky finger.
Yeah.
The worst finger injury in the history of athletics.
Honestly.
It's unfortunate,
like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But like, I really think that, you know, they were going, like, I really fully expected to find out that Bianca was the one that, you know, injured Jade, and it was going to be Jade and Bianca with Bianca's heel, and Naomi was working for her the whole time. I really thought that was where they were going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what the truth is that these things happen, and they're going to pivot, and Bianca will be back soon. I've heard soon.
She got surgery on her finger finally, or some kind of a procedure done. So there's finally a resolution to that. That she's like on the road to recovery now. So that's good there. Yeah. But yeah, going back to Rhea and Io, I really like that they haven't teased any kind of heel turn here. I don't want to see these two break up. I think, like you said, Gurveer, like the long-term storytelling of something they did, like with the Golden Lovers, I think is a really cool opportunity that you have here with these two, where they don't have to become a feud.
They could main event WrestleMania 43. There's no like they could. If the two, Rio arguably is the most over superstar in the company beyond like next to like Roman and CM Punk. Like, she is a massive star. And Io is, I wouldn't say she's as popular, but she's huge. And the two of them, you know, could main event without blinking if they want to go that route.
And the work rate.
You're sick. You have a sickness.
We're back.
You have a sickness. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Or more work.
I thought you were saying better work rate.
Only prescription's a better work rate.
All right, well, we have made it to the end of the card. We are at the Night 2 main event. It is Roman Reigns, once again in this position, against CM Punk. This has been an interesting build.
Yeah.
Even going as far as you had the darkness of CM Punk invoking Reigns' dead father in the lead up, and then you kind of had them walking it back in this most recent promo as if they felt like they had gone too far, and they're trying to build this all around the hatred between the two.
Yeah.
I am someone who thinks that Cody is feeling a little bit stale. In terms of the main event picture, I think CM Punk has been carrying the WWE over the past, let's at least say, couple months in a post-Cena world. And I don't know what you do here. I don't want to see Roman get the title back, but I don't think Punk needs to be in the title picture either. So
you're gonna see that. That's exactly what's gonna happen. All right, like, I don't know. I don't see any reality outside of that.
All because of Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is going to side with Roman, and
he came out today.
Who did?
He came out today and said, because remember the whole thing is Randy Orton is going to fix wrestling. He came out with comments today and said Randy and Roman, when he becomes the 15-time champion or whatever it is going to save wrestling. And I was like, oh, they're integrating him on purpose.
Pat McAfee?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what though? I just think like I don't know. I never saw it in any other direction. It clearly felt like Roman like kind of took his foot off the gas for the last since like WrestleMania 40-ish, but like he's done great stuff like in between here and there, but like it doesn't feel like he had that same level of engagement from that time. This feels like them being like, all right, never mind. Let's actually bring him back in the fold in a way that's like much more meaningful. And I think it's worth it. Like with Punk, like you're saying, he's the MVP, and that's great. He's done all the stuff, and now it's time to move on to the next thing. That's how I always kind of saw it.
Yeah, I think Punk's role is not always, but I think coming out of this, Punk's role was going to be like a Jericho when he was with the WWE. We had the big Austin Rock feud at the top, but a lot of the time he was like this elevated, like above mid card, but not in the main event role. And I think that's probably where Punk is destined to go.
I don't know. I think Punk is like way too beloved, and like he's in like a legend situation. Like regardless, like I think he's way more beloved than Jericho was at any point in his career. Not to like say Jericho wasn't or anything like that, but like he's loved in a way that's different. That's like generational, and I think like what I was saying before of like him being one of the biggest stars there, like Roman, Cody, and Punk are like that's the top of the card. And I think even like going into this year, everyone was just deciding of like who's going to work with Punk and be in that main event. It could have been Cody in night 2 facing Punk easily, but instead they went in a different direction. And I think that's totally fair. I don't know. I just think this is more like a culmination of like so much behind the scenes stuff and this and that. Yeah. But ultimately it comes down to these like Punk is in a main event situation. He gets to face Roman. I don't really see too much shenanigans happening. I think it's going to be like a straight up match. And I think they're going to just try to have like the best performance that they possibly can. All the cinema stuff included.
I don't think there's two people who are going to try harder in a match to have a spectacular match than these two. Because of the detractors of Roman and the way he works and Punk and his age, and they've even made that part of the feud. I think that they're really going to go all out in this one. And I think there's a chance that this could be the match of the show.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like the way people are talking about like Oba Brock being like this super hot. I think this is like the hottest personally. Like I see the reactions, all that kind of stuff, but people are coming to WrestleMania to see Roman versus Punk. I feel that's the attraction this year.
Yeah, and I don't think the term mid-card is necessarily a negative, because like Brock and Oba is a mid-card feud right now. Owens and Jericho, going back to Jericho, which took over, was a mid-card feud. The Usos and Owens and Zayn were a mid-card feud. And
main event. That was a main event feud.
It became a main event at WrestleMania, but it was not in the title picture at the top of the card.
Right.
Sure.
And I think that I would like to see more of that, more of those kind of secondary feuds that can elevate to be as popular as the main event feuds. And I think that could be where Punk goes.
Maybe. I think that, and I do think that Roman goes over, and I think that Roman holds the belt till Survivor Series. I think that he loses.
What's so specific?
Okay, yeah. So I think that SummerSlam is too short.
Survivor Series is when Logan Paul wins the belt, Gurveer.
You're sick. You guys are sick.
You be careful. You watch. I do think that if he loses it at the maybe the Royal Rumble, you could do.
It's crazy. Why? I never think about like when's this guy going to drop it, unless it feels like it's a transitional kind of situation. But like Roman's not a transitional kind of champion, you know.
But
it's more like reading the temperature along the way.
I think that I think he loses it well in advance because he main events WrestleMania 43 against The Rock, and he does not need the title. Although knowing The Rock, he could say,
I think
"Let's
they
put
would
the title on
want
the
the
line."
title.
Maybe, but it's the biggest match ever since Rock and Cena, and you don't need a belt. You don't need a belt to do it as a one-off. So I think you can have, Logan Paul as champion, and so no, I'm kidding. And whoever wins it in Survivor Series can take it to Mania, and I think they can carry it there. And maybe it's Oba that goes over Roman by that point. I think Survivor Series is too soon. I think it's not Survivor Series. I think SummerSlam is too soon. That's why I say Survivor Series, because it's got to be one of the big ones. They're not going to do it at Backlash. They're gonna have them carry it for a good amount of time.
I just don't think they like have an idea of like, all right, cool, this is where we're going to end it. I think the intention is, all right, now let's put the belt on Roman and let's see where it goes. I don't think they have it. I don't know. I don't think they have a situation where like, all right, cool, this is where we're going to end the Roman thing.
They're big on long-term storytelling.
Yeah, Heyman has said if you're a WrestleMania 41 and you're not planning 42,
sure,
what are you doing wrong? Because they think a year ahead. He wants them to think a year ahead. There are changes. There are changes along the way. Injuries happen, blah blah blah. Like Seth and Braun were going to be the match this year. They changed that. Yeah. But I think this is what I'm saying. I'm just guessing. I'm long term.
Yeah, for sure. But I think people discount like vibes
with The Rock.
Yeah. I could see happening for sure. But I just think like I think ultimately it always comes down to like, is this the right moment? And I don't think you can predict that super well in advance. Like you hope, but maybe they can build up to like whatever they actually want to do. But I just imagine Roman is one of those guys that when he drops the belt, it's usually like a big deal. So we'll know either it's going to be like this massive new challenger or some massive feud that they're building to. But we'll see what happens. I mean, he could lose it on Monday. Who the hell knows?
No.
Who knows?
That would be the worst title loss of all time. You have the guy that held it for over 1,100 days, and he loses it in one night. You cannot do that to Roman. You destroy his character forever.
I think you could do it. Like, I'm not saying they're going to, but I think you could. I mean, MJF just had a great match with Kenny Omega, and then dropped the belt to Darby. I think that you could do something like that.
This is different, obviously. I was just saying as a matter of fact example, like anything could happen kind of thing. But
I think the big question is, and I don't know the answer to this, I know how I would probably do it, is who becomes champ first, Oba or Braun?
Braun.
I feel like Braun too.
I don't know.
I think Braun takes it. at SummerSlam. No, I don't. Because I think that Seth is next up. And no, I'm serious. I think Seth is next up. And I'm hearing that it's going to be a long story. So that culminates at SummerSlam. I think Braun, they hold it back. Everybody knows he's going to win it eventually. He doesn't need it yet.
Yeah.
Listen, and these are all like not guarantees. We don't know if any of these guys are actually going to live up to the potential of being a champion. But the cool thing is they have so many guys that I think that's what makes wrestling shows interesting, is like there's so many people that you're like, that could be the guy. And then people start picking like, no, it's not Oba. It's supposed to be Trick, or no, it shouldn't be Trick. It should be Mello, or like that's the fun of it. You should have like 1 billion people that people should be rallying behind. And I think that's going to be the fun thing for the next couple of years is people championing a different young guy, and then whoever kind of comes out on top. I think that's going to be cool. For the next couple of years, you're going to see somebody trying to take the top spot. One of those guys is going to be trying to take it. Who can possibly do that? Is Oba actually capable of being like the guy who carries the company, or is it going to be like a Brock situation where at some point he becomes a heel and like he's the big foil for people to overcome? Is Trick really going to like he's the guy who carries the company and like goes on the Tonight Show and all that kind of stuff? We don't know who's going to end up doing it, but that's the fun. We're going to be watching to see who ends up being the person who lives up the most to the potential.
And that doesn't necessarily equal a title either, because I don't think it's impossible that within the next year, Sami Zayn wins the world title. I don't think that's impossible. I think it's very interesting to see where on the card you put Kevin Owens when he returns, because the people love him.
If he returns, is he confirmed? I thought
no. It's the same thing as Edge, is what I heard, and they have no idea when he'll ever wrestle again.
Yeah, and again, he's another guy that like he's done everything. Like even if he retired now, he's already a legend.
So I think Punk jumps out. I think the other thing that's kind of good for them is NXT is a lot of further away developmental, because we just got that wave of Trick and Javon and Oba. There's no like next man up from NXT, unless you're going to say like maybe Joe Hendry, but that's not going to be in the top picture.
I love
that's your guy. That's your guy.
Love Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry, Logan Paul, and Danhausen. That's
okay. Hear me
that's
out.
your faction.
Logan Paul, or not Logan Paul, Joe Hendry has the most creative gimmick they've had in years for a regular wrestler.
How did you expand on that like tremendously?
I mean, as a gimmick, look at this. It as a gimmick, like the dude that appears anytime his name is used. I mean, and it hasn't gotten old yet. They've managed to find different ways. Like at one point, Hank and Tank weaponized him. They were in trouble, and they're like, Joe Hendry, and here he was. And I'm like, I'm not saying he's the best talent on the roster. I think he's got a lot of. I think he's very green. He's got a lot of ways to go, even though he's been around forever. I do think his gimmick is spectacular, and I think that it's not Danhausen silly. Even as goofy as it is, he takes what he does in the ring serious enough that it's not going Danhausen. But nobody else on the roster has a gimmick as creative as Joe Hendry. I can't think of a single one that has a gimmick that works that way.
I just think you like there's a lot of sharks up in there right now. It's just, I'm not saying he can't, but it's like it's gonna be tough. There's so many guys that are set up for success right now that I think like you were saying, like it's actually convenient the fact that NXT is in a developmental kind of situation right now too, because they're trying to figure out who their guys are going to be going forward. But the guys that they have now, I feel like they already have everyone that's going to be competing for the spot, and the only people that you're going to see that in the future are going to be in like much more prominent positions that aren't there right now are probably people that are going to be coming from different companies or somebody completely brand new who's like making a name for themselves.
I don't know. Yeah. JC Jane and Ethan Page are pretty special.
Ethan Page for sure. But like you never know, like who's to say?
I think Ethan Page could be a top of the card guy. I think he will be mostly a mid card guy who can get to the top of the card at sometimes and is happy in the mid card, like a Sammy, who can be in top of the card, but he can slide back in and it doesn't hurt him. And this is what I say about Joe. I think of all of those guys that are coming up. I think what's the guy the guy again? What's his name?
Stark.
Ricky Saints.
Yeah. Ricky Saints.
Oh yeah.
I think he could be great, but I think that Joe is an attraction, and he's not like an attraction like Femi, but people love what he's doing so much that you can come in and do a fantastic feud with The Miz. You can do a fantastic feud with Dom. Like you could do something really great, and he's entertaining as heck. I'm telling you.
I like Joe Hendry. I think you're a little high on him there, Steve.
I love him. I'm sorry.
He's definitely a little high. That's for sure.
No. I'm not saying he's the neck. I'm not saying he's.
I'm just joking. I'm just like
main event.
That's just a good turn of phrase.
I'm just saying.
I think his main roster likelihood is like an Elias. I think that's probably where they.
He does sing.
As someone who
he's not
does
Elias.
his gimmick and shows up and pops up and stuff like that.
But Elias never really got over. Like I think Joe is so far over. Like Elias, great. I wish him well. I don't know what his name is now. Elias, Ilian. I don't know who he is now. Eli.
I think it's Elijah.
Elijah. That's it. But I just think that like Joe comes in, he does a 2-month feud, he disappears for a couple of months, and he comes back, does a 2-month feud. Like I just think he always entertains me in his backstage segments and stuff and his appearances. and that's why I like him.
He's heavily
entertains me.
entertaining. That's
That's what
no
I'm
doubt
saying.
about that.
He could come into a great feud with The Miz, great feud with Dom, where he just torments them by appearing, stuff like that, and have some good matches. Like that's why I like him. I like him because he's fun.
I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's just there's a lot of like good people that are on the come up right now. I just think it's going to be hard for anybody to break into that, unless you're like absurdly talented.
But look at who you're losing. Look at who you're losing over the next couple of years. So we're talking about how it's tough. We're probably losing Ray. We're losing Brock. We're probably losing Roman's going to be less and less. CM Punk is doing fine.
Roman's early 40s. Roman's got time. He's like 41.
No. I'm not saying you're losing him because of his age. I'm saying you're losing him because of his career.
That's think he's going to Hollywood?
I think he wants to.
I think he wants to too, but I think it's harder than it seems. Like I think he's going to try to balance them for a lot longer than say like The Rock.
No, but I'm not saying like this week. I'm saying like there are slots opening. Is all I'm saying.
For sure.
And so these guys coming up right now, it is tough. But if you get them in and let them simmer, NXT is in a full blown rebuild for the next 3 years. Like they've got some good talent. Blake Monroe could be a star. The Vanity Project or something. They could be great, but they're all Keanu Carver. They're building up to be Oba, but they're all green, and they're going to be
the biggest NXT fan I know.
I've been watching NXT. I picked it up. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
I think the other thing, like obviously, like best wishes and stuff like that, when it comes to Roman, is his health, because something can always flare up again. And even any kind of scare, especially, him with his children and stuff like that, like wanting to step away and take that time, it may be something that he could leave at that kind of notice for his own health and wellness.
Yeah, I'm not putting that kind of juju on him like that. I think like he's good. He's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
Again, I'm not putting that juju on.
Curse Roman Reigns?
You cursed him.
Nick
Hausen.
I'm Dutch, not German.
Nick Van Housen.
And I think the other thing that's kind of working in the favor of years past and us talking about these young guys that are already there and trying to build them up, like these night after WrestleMania, a couple years ago, it was Bobby Lashley and all these free agents that there's talk about bringing in. It feels like everything is going to be done in-house, aside from, like I said, Evil coming over, which I don't think is a main event talent.
Yeah, I think they have enough guys that are like on the way back. Like Braun will probably be on Monday.
Yeah, that'll be his moment. It's going to be their guys, unless there's like unexpected AEW cuts that bring someone in. But like, I think they understand
MJF.
that.
They're going to drop $50 million a year on MJF.
You wish. No, I don't think he's. I think he's too young. I think at some point maybe they'll get MJF, but like I just think he's too young right now.
I don't think there's anyone that's gonna. I mean, I'm blanking. The guy from TNA, the young one, the great one.
The Rock?
No, TNA.
Oh, you said the great one. I wasn't sure.
Oh, fair. I want to say Leon something.
Oh, Leon Slater? Yeah.
Yeah, like that's probably
he was the WWE
only
guy, wasn't he? Wasn't Leon Slater?
He's TNA. They brought him in as part of like that TNA NXT relationship, but then
that guy. Yeah.
That's the only guy I see with that potential to jump right into into the main roster.
He could be,
other than an Ethan Page.
He could be a young OG. What's his name? Javon Evans. He could be a Javon Evans type.
He was tag teaming. He was tag teaming with him, so like they could.
Oh, was he?
Okay. Yeah, they could bring that back for sure.
Yeah, I think there's something you could do there, but outside of him, unless there's some unexpected cuts in the industry that they want to jump on, like they did with Ricky Starks and Blake Monroe. I can't remember her AEW name. It's blanking on me.
Mariah May,
right. I think that what you have is what you're working with. And I think that's kind of an interesting place to be. And I just hope that the writing improves.
I don't know. I think it's also
they made some changes.
I think ultimately it comes down to the individual. Like, can you turn this into something? And I think they have a bunch of young people who are trying to do that. And I think it doesn't really come down to like the writers. It comes down to like, how is this person going to execute it? And that's really all it is. And like, these are young people. They'll figure out their rhythm as time goes on. And I think within the next like 2-3 years, you're going to see a whole completely different situation in WWE.
And keep in mind as well too of the fourth brand. I mean, we mentioned it, but we didn't talk about it. AAA. If you have a guy who really doesn't have a lot to do, AAA has their people, but they've had so much success sending their guys down to AAA. And I'm not just talking about like El Grande Americano, but like there's a lot of these guys have just sort of shown up. Chelsea Green was a champ there. She was a tag team champ with Ethan Page.
That's part of the reason that Dom became as successful as he did.
Yeah, he's been champ for like 6 months.
Yeah, like that international aspect is what's really built him into something beyond the Dominic Mysterio that he was earlier on. I think they've really given his character a lot more weight because of the work he's done there. So, and
it's given him credibility to when he does win the title. Dom could be the guy, though. I keep going back to Money in the Bank because Money in Bank is probably my third favorite PLE of the year. But there are some of these guys. Your Sami Zayn, your Finn Balor, your Logan Paul. I know we've talked about him a lot, but he would be a fantastic Money in the Bank winner. Fantastic.
He would be a good Money in the Bank person, yeah, for sure. He'd be a good foil.
Be a great Money in the Bank winner. Like this is what I mean. Like this is all of them. Like they would make good use of it.
I don't love the Money in the Bank concept these days, just because I don't feel like it makes somebody the same way that it used to. But that also is circumstantial.
Look at Damian Priest.
Yeah.
Damian Priest was made by Senior Money in the Bank. Like that elevated him to that title scene. I think he needed that to get him over.
For sure. For sure. I just think it's like I don't know, it's gonna be tough regardless. But
I agree.
Going back to Mania, like I just think it's like they have a very busy main event scene, and it's just going to take somebody who is either really like the meeting of like a perfect storm of somebody who like gets into that scene who's younger, or just proves himself over a long enough period of time. But I think over the next like 12 months, we're going to see people just gunning for those spots and trying to like become a main eventer.
And I think outside of the young guys, I think the one place that there's a path for success in the WWE right now is in the tag division, especially the men's tag division. And I think, can you get like a version of the Bar? Like two guys who aren't quite at the top thing. Not saying that this would be a route for like a CM Punk, but maybe for like a Balor. Like, can Balor become part of like a great tag team with someone who is comparable to him? Not like a JD McDonough or something like that. But I think that's a division that you need to kind of have like an influx of talent. And like you could do a Javon or a Leon Slater together. You could do something with Mello and Trick if that's the route you wanted to go. But I think they have higher aspirations for Trick. But I think it would be nice to get back to the tag team importance, which is something that AEW does really well and NXT does really well, but WWE has really faltered on lately. Ever since the Sammy Kevin Usos feud.
That was also like a blip. Like, what would you even go to before that?
I mean, like I said, like,
and part of a massive story.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know. Tag team wrestling is just not a big priority in the WWE, and that's okay. Like, it's just not that kind of landscape.
And I don't want to put Finn there. Because I think that you've just got him out of the faction, and if you put him in a tag match, you're going to minimize what you could do with him again. And I think, oh man, like that would be death to his character at this point.
In the current tag division, yes, but I think, like I said, that's clearly a priority in NXT is tag teams, because that's a great way to develop people. And I think that if you're going to rejuvenate one division, like if you take this Intercontinental US title, all that kind of stuff out, like, okay, what are you going to give an Ilya Dragunov to do? Do you put him on a dynamic tag team? Do you make like your own Young Bucks, your own Revival? I mean, you screwed up DIY, but you can have these elite tag teams, because growing up, you had Edge and Christian, you had the Hardys, you had the Dudleys, you had the APA, you had, you name it, London and Kendrick. Like, you had this booming tag division, and that was how you worked with an overstuffed roster. And right now, you've got an overstuffed roster. So why not fix that so that you give these guys somewhere to perform?
I have no qualms with trying to like bolster up your tag team division, but like I would just challenge that of being like those are different eras, like Kendrick and Brian Kendrick, or what was it, London and Kendrick? Like that was like 2006, 2000. Like that's a very different time than like '99, where like the Hardys and TLC and all that kind of stuff. Those are just like very different eras, and also like could argue that London Kendrick time was like that was not a big tag team priority either. And even going back to TLC, that was when they were just fighting. Those are young guys fighting for a position. That's a completely different kind of situation. They made themselves in those tough situations. And it comes down. I've been saying this the entire time. It comes down to the talent being like, all right, I'm going to make this work, and I'm going to be the one that breaks through. Blah blah blah. Like whatever. It could be other circumstances and all that kind of stuff matters. But it comes down to like who's are going to be the people that step up, and that's really what it is.
And I'll even continue that and say they actually have a pretty darn good men's tag division. Like SmackDown is a good tag division. They've got Fraxium, they've got the Motor City Machine Guns, even Damien and R-Truth. Like as ridiculous as they are, they're over. And to be honest, I would even say maybe a hint that Truth may be wrapping it up soon.
Sure.
Another, especially with Downhausen taking off, right? Like Truth, or at least Truth just goes to backstage segments, as a wrestler, he starts to wrap it up. But you look at and they don't even use the Street Profits. Like the Street Profits are there. They're like making coffee in the back. Like,
and finally had done something interesting with their characters when they seemingly dropped them. Like the Street Profits were like becoming interesting, and then they just bailed on them.
But they couldn't get over. They couldn't get over. They were trying to go over as a heel, and the crowd wouldn't have it. See, this is what I mean. They were cheering them on too much, no matter what they did, and so it killed the momentum that they were building. And I agree, it was really good, but they're getting the wrong reactions. So I think they've got talent though in the tag team division. I don't think they've had the stories.
Yeah, I think the writing is failing the tag team division. And I know you said you do what you can with the writing. Someone like the Motor City Machine Guns, they've given them nothing to work with, except for these guys are good wrestlers.
Yeah. And
I think that they can do some storytelling within the tag division because they've done it in the women's tag division.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to do, to like rejuvenate that. And you can even make like an R-Truth and a Damian Priest work for what they are. I mean, we had Booker T and Goldust, which was like a comedy tag team that really worked for what it was against other people.
I feel like this is like a little revisionist, if I'm being completely honest. Like you're taking like actual low points and you're being like, don't you remember how good this was? And it's like, what are we talking about? no, I can't let it pass.
Look, he works in the back, okay, Nick? He knows what's going on.
He was at the show. He was at the show.
He produced it.
He was at Dustin Rhodes' last match for the WWE.
I wish I was at Dustin and Cody, man. That would have been a great one to be at Double or Nothing, man.
He's actually the booker. And he's like, I don't want to deal with these tag teams. Like, no, I'm shutting this shit down right now.
You think Triple H is in charge? No. Here.
There you go. Well, we've got it all sorted out.
We did it. We fixed everything. Everything is fixed.
We saved the WWE.
I want no responsibility, all right? I want none of this.
We know it's your fault now. We know it's all you.
I think the important thing is that we're going to be watching this weekend. We'll see how it goes. We'll see which matches stand out. We'll see if there's any big surprises. Before I let you guys go, do either of you have a big surprise that you want to put into the ether for this upcoming edition of WrestleMania?
Like
Steve, I feel like yours would be Danhausen.
You mean the card? You mean the card? I'm like,
Yes.
I don't have one.
Surprise, like appearances, or like a swerve kind of booking kind of situation?
A swerve, someone shows up in some kind of feud that they aren't a part of. Like I said, a surprise guest. Just an outcome that we think there's no way it's going one way. So before I let you guys go, I just want to ask if either of you have any predictions or surprises that you have that are kind of not something we've spoken about for the event this weekend, whether it's a surprise return, someone ending up in a feud that they're not typically a part of, or an outcome that we just think is like clear cut going one way that you think is going to go the other way.
Okay, so I actually just thought of something because I was just looking at the card and I just realized, like, remember in one of Roman's promos, he was saying, like, you know, any Samoan that wants to beat the crap out of CM Punk, either before or after, he's all yours, but on WrestleMania Night 2, he's mine. And nothing happened before, did it? Like, it didn't miss anything where there was, like, Samoans beating up Punk?
Just Jay and Jimmy.
Yeah, just like that one segment.
But there has been a lot of talk recently of Samoans talking to each other. So for example, you know, you hear things like, Jay, you sound like Roman. You've heard Solo just said to Fatu last week, he's like, you know, you and I should get back together and run it back. Like, there's been these drops. There's nothing like you said, nothing other than the Usos with Punk, but there's been drops of Samoan dynasty again.
I wouldn't be surprised if something happened where they, like, you know, not get the band back together, but like in some capacity incorporate something bloodline-ish to...
Do we get a Rikishi sighting?
No. There's so many Samoans. I think we're okay.
Bring in Dad.
Yeah.
The only other, like, you're talking about lines that are kind of not, I think that they just kind of forgot that this line was thrown in, but do we think there is anything to Randy's line before McAfee where he was saying wrestling has more than one royal family and then brought in Pat McAfee? Do we think there's anything to either legacy or not Cowboy Bob, but something about him having an affiliation to another family?
No, they're not doing Ted DiBiase Jr. They're not doing that. I mean, if you really want to go, like, you know, crazy, you can do like some Nepo baby kind of situation if you really want to. Because technically Cody is a Nepo baby as well, but like you could do Randy and Charlotte and whoever the hell else you want to throw in together. You can always do that kind of stuff.
Well, that's what I meant. Like, not so much that the OG legacy comes back, but if Orton is helped out by a new legacy, like if they get restarted with other, as you said, Nepo babies.
But you got to like find the right people. Like Charlotte makes sense with Randy because, like, you know, they have ties or whatever. But who are like the other generational or like second, third, fourth generation people that you would throw in there? I don't know who that would be. I know they have that faction in NXT, but like I wouldn't bring up any of those guys for this kind of situation.
Yeah. Regal's kid and Pillman's kid. And...
Yeah, I don't think they do anything like that. I will say this. I think I don't know if this will happen at Mania. I don't think it makes sense to do it given the matches they've set up. I do think they are going to angle towards Jay becoming the new tribal chief because they've already teased it. They've already teased it because Roman did what he told him to do. That was the moment that when Roman was in the ring with Punk and Jay and the Usos are there. They're standing out there and Roman's about to leave and Jay says, "You go finish him. You know what to do." And Roman looks at him and turns around and gives him a spear and goes at it. And I think that even if that's where they're going to head eventually. I don't think they're going to have to. I don't know if that happens at Mania, but I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that there's something that they're doing with Jay.
Sure.
Whether it's just this power hungry bloodline.
Yeah. There is something. Like, he had that whole interaction with Cameron today too. And I don't know if you guys watched that.
Which one?
Steve?
Sorry?
Cameron, you know Cameron the rapper?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay. Yeah,
on the podcast, right?
Are you familiar with Cameron at all? Steve, let's talk some hip hop.
Yeah, sure.
Are you a fan of Dipset? Like,
yes.
Purple City Bird Gang.
You could just make up names and I wouldn't know, but I do know
These are all correct. These are all correct.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, okay.
Steve is an avid Lupe Fiasco fan.
Is that true?
I don't know.
Top 5. Dumb
Top
it down,
5.
Steve. Dumb it down.
No. I could list you. I could name you the old school guys, but let's not talk about anybody now because I don't know them. But I do know his name. I do know his
We love
name.
Grandmaster Flash.
There you go. Absolutely. Sugar Hill Gang. Let's go all the way back. No, but I do know Cameron's name. I'm not going to pretend I listen to his podcast.
It's pretty good, actually. It's very funny.
But yeah, they had
but what's the point of the story? Yeah, wait.
What?
That was
attack on the.
I'm just talking about Cameron at this point. No, but like Jey Uso was on Cameron's podcast, and he basically Cameron was kind of talking some trash, and then Jey went and like grabbed him, and like they worked a punch or whatever. It was interesting because it's like doing a work shoot angle with a rapper.
Yeah,
is so interesting to me, just because rap has a lot of like pro wrestling elements to it too. But I don't know. I just think it's going to be interesting to see because they put Jey in that position because they wanted him to get headlines. So you might not be wrong. He might be in a prominent position going forward.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of that stuff in where they release little things online. Like I know Roman dropped a promo. I know Roman dropped a promo today. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, no, that was actually good. I really like that. The one he did in his car, that was awesome.
Okay.
Very
but
cool.
like they're doing little things like that.
Should have had that on TV. It's crazy that they didn't have that that kind of moment on TV. Like I don't know.
I mean, you could still air it on SmackDown technically. But,
yeah, it's it's not the same.
And then Steve, I'll leave you with this because you didn't really have a crazy prediction, but I'll just ask you, what's Danhausen gonna do at WrestleMania? Because you know he's gonna have something. What's your fantasy booking for Danhausen?
My fantasy booking is that he curses every single match. That would be incredible. I think that they're going to end up doing some mini segment. They always do one in-ring talking segment, and but I would love it if I just don't think there's a title match that you can insert him in. Like there's no matches on this card that you can insert him in to make it goofy. Like I think they have to do something different. Like what are you gonna do? Have him curse Finn? Like what are you gonna? No.
Or Dom specifically. It was.
I don't think. I think they're taking these matches very seriously, and I think that what he does is incidental. I think it's something that he does. I would love to see him, curse Randy Orton right before the main event or something like that. But I just
AEW he did. Sorry, in AEW he did this thing where like he was kind of hiding under the ring, and in a match, someone, I forget, maybe it was like Orange Cassidy or something like that, they like pulled him out, and then that was how he debuted. I think it was Adam Cole actually, and they pulled him out, and he like that was his debut. He showed up in like the middle of a match and then just cursed somebody, and that was it. I could easily see him popping into literally any match and just cursing somebody. They lose.
He is unbeaten. He is unbeaten. He is.
There you go.
He is. Why are we talking about Oba getting a title shot? This guy's never been beaten. His curse is. I love the fact now that like Miz is the voice of reason, and there's no such thing as curses, and even Nick Aldis is like, look, it's not the referee's fault. He was cursed. And they're like, not you too. Everyone. It's great. It's great.
All right. Well, I think we have extensively covered WrestleMania 42. Steve, Gurveer, tell the people where they can find you.
Steve.
You first.
No, go ahead. Go for it.
All right. Thank you. You can find us at screenfish.net is our site. Screenfish, site that wants to delve into the heart of popular culture and the stories that matter to us today. You can find us on YouTube. You can find lots of interviews with industry professionals, as well as Screenfish Radio. It's been a little bit behind on that, but certainly we've had new podcast episodes dropping every day. You can go to screenfish.net, check out reviews of current projects. You can follow us on Instagram, Screenfish Online, at Screenfish Online, and the Tickety Talks as well. But yeah, come and join the conversation.
Yeah, my name is Gurveer Brah, and that's exactly my handle on whatever platform. But Screen Off Script, you can follow. That's our page. And on every platform as well. We got a bunch of cool stuff on there. Don't even worry about it. If you made it this far and you don't follow, like, that's absurd. Like, I don't even think that person exists. So I'm not even going to pretend to pitch this person, this fictitious person.
Yeah, if you made it this far, we're honestly all surprised. And
You sound like Pat McAfee. You know what the problem is? We got to save this podcast, guys. We got to save it.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you guys. Steve has definitely been on Bigger Bite, the show that we have on this channel. Gurveer, I'm sure, will make an appearance on Bigger Bite at some point this year where we talk movies. After all, that is what we tend to specialize in.
I have no specialties, man. I just kill it in every avenue. It's just everything. Talk fishing. You want to talk fishing?
There you go.
That's our site. No, I'm kidding.
Greenfish.
We are not a fishing site, but sorry. Go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
We're gonna keep fucking extending this thing.
We're really trying to get to that 3-hour mark. Yeah, it has been a pleasure chatting with you guys. I hope you guys enjoy WrestleMania. To those watching, I hope you guys enjoy WrestleMania. And we will do this again in a year's time.
Thanks so much, Nick. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Peace.